Hold on.
Yespixel, episode 13.
Wait, did we start?
Oh, yeah,
we're started
with our guest, CleebronJames, aka
Yes, sir.
Doowee Dangle on NoPixel. How's it going, Mr. Cleebron? Today's episode is brought to you by...
Wait for it.
Dramatic pause. It's in the ad read.
Traumatic pause?
Traumatic pause. Snails.
Whoa. Wait, we landed snails?
Not slugs, to be clear. They wouldn't let you know. Slugs don't have a shell. They're a little weird. They're not the same genetically.
Kind of useless. Yeah. Really susceptible to salt.
Yep, snails. So what you're looking for today is snails. You see a snail, say hello. That's all our sponsor wants you to say. Say hello to a snail.
Wait, do snails explode if you sprinkle salt over them?
No,
they like shrivel up because it like draws the moisture out of them.
Moist little guys.
Look at that. We're 10 seconds in.
We're saving snails' lives.
His camera already froze up once. Nice. Cleebron, hey.
How's it going, buddy?
What's going on?
What's up, man? Welcome to the podcast.
Yes, sir. Thank you for having me. Good to be here.
How long you been on NoPixel?
Going on, thinking, let's see, hold on, what's today? In 5 days will be 3 months.
After you're saying 5 days, it'll be 6 days.
I think we're only at 3 months right now.
Okay, well,
hell yeah.
Because I know a little bit from speaking to you earlier, but let's go way back. Let's get inside the way back machine. And we're going to take a trip back in time. Cleebron, how did your journey through roleplay begin? Where did you start? You know, your humble beginnings as a role player. Why don't you tell us about that?
They were very humble. They were very humble beginnings. So I really came up on like shooters, heavy. COD's always been my jam. Until they just like started just messing up COD. Either that or I got really bad and people got really good. Either way, a lot of hackers and stuff, right? You know what I'm saying? Like either whatever we need to make an excuse right here, right? And so GTA had actually, even before like 5M, really, like GTA had already been really my favorite game. Just because I was like, dude, this is mind blowing. Like, what is more mind blowing than a real life simulator, essentially, right? Like,
true. What
other game have they made that could top this, you know? And so it's always been my favorite game. And I'd kind of like jumped into 5M, but never really like actually dove into it or understood like the whole concept. I'd watched RP now for a few years now, but I hadn't. And so really, I'm kind of going back 2 years and then in a year. But so like a year and a half ago, one of my buddies, we were going to hop into GTA. He's like, no, bro, we got to do RP. We got to hop in, 5M. I'm like, all right, fuck it, So I hop in. I'm mad nervous, bro. It was the most 100K or die server ever. Like it was super 100K or die.
What does that mean? 100K or die?
Yeah, it was.
It's where men are made.
Is that Zoomer lingo?
Oh, it's so like 100K or die is like it's servers where there's no, as far as like being like NRP and like so there's no like it's all half of it's OC, and it's really just people running up to you like 100K or die, 10, 9, 8, 7,
gotcha.
You know what I'm saying? They count down, you don't give them 100K.
Gotcha.
Yeah, they pop your head off, And so then we basically like we made like a motorcycle gang and we just like grinded, bro, just grinded. But it's like, oh, we're RPing, we're in this place and we're acting like little characters, we're RPing, whatever. And we were in there for like 2 months, and then that's really when it started to kind of like resonate with me. Okay, this is as far as like what RP was or being involved in RP. And so I started kind of server hopping, and I would just go in a server, mess around for like a few weeks, maybe a month, and but it was never really, it was just like kind of trying to get content, there wasn't really ever like a long-term goal with it. And obviously the dream was always to jump in NoPixel, but at that time I probably wasn't ready. But I guess for me it was so unachievable at that time. It was like people don't get in NoPixel, you know what I mean? Like, how am I gonna get in? And you're watching it and you're like, dude, these characters are massive. Like, there's no way, you know what I'm saying? There's no way I could ever like hang out with these guys and do this and everything. And so I was really server hopping like crazy, and I was starting, as my RP was getting better, I think at the same time I was also getting very deterred, where I wasn't able to find like-minded individuals maybe, and it was just, everywhere you go is a hardcore win mentality. It's an esport. you know, GTA and RP has really turned into an esport more than RP a lot of the times.
Actually, true.
And
Damn.
bro, it's turning such an esport, you know. And so in anywhere you still have it, you have your RPers, you have your esport players, your grinders, you know, whatever, what have you. But I was getting really deterred, and I was like, man, like I just can't find anywhere to like do this. And so I was literally like probably, and now we're kind of fast forwarding out about 5 months ago, 6 months ago. Yeah, about probably actually more like 6, 7 months. And I was like, dude, I'm done. Like my stream, I was like barely streaming. It was like I couldn't do anything. I was like, I wasn't getting my TikToks. I wasn't getting anything. I was like, dude, like this is a waste of my time. Like I got to move on. And one of my buddies who I'd been playing with for a long time, and that's who actually got me into RP. He was like, bro, you need to go try this other city. And it was the city I was actually assistant chief in. And
Assistant
and
chief
he was
of
like,
police.
yes. And he was like, bro, you need to jump in here. I promise you, like it's a big community. And because that was another big thing I was running into is not a lot of servers have stable like high numbers and have decent RP, right? It's like if they have high numbers, it's like everybody just running around killing each other and you know, a lot of gang stuff, whatever. And that's just and gang stuff was fun for a while, but I was just like, oh, it's so toxic, bro. Like this is just so toxic. And being gang leaders and running gangs and servers, it was just so toxic. And so I jump in this city and I'm like, wait a minute, like this, you know, this is actually like this is all right. And so I was like, man,
there's like structure and people like have lives like in the server.
right, exactly. And so I'd already for like probably since like January-ish of last year, I'd started like I'd walk around the house and I was always talking like this, and you know, like I was coming up with a character to be a cop because I was like, dude, a cop might actually be fun. With my whole background in life, I was like, I can never be a cop, you know. And like 13 years ago, I was in jail and blah blah blah, you know. And so I was like, I would never be a freaking cop, you know. And so then I was like, I started kind of watching cop streams on this server and everything. I was like, dude, this might actually be fun. And so I finally, me and my wife were sitting there and I was like, okay, like this is gonna be my cop character, right? But like, what the hell's the name gonna be? And my wife's like, Doowee Dangle. And so I was like, Doowee Dangle, neighborhood watch, or Officer Doowee Dangle. And we like just busted in tears, you know? And I was like, that's it. The next day, bro, I made this character and I jump in this city and I put on like a vest or whatever, and I just started running around on a moped doing neighborhood watch, just snitching heavy on people, bro. Just like snitching nonstop. Well, my buddy Arnold, who's actually the chief of police there, he stops me, and I didn't know any of these people. I don't know anybody, and this was and that was a big thing for me, honestly, was actually separating from my friends to jump into RP. Like I was always with my friends and we always RP together. Like my friend Flex and Burner, who I really hope Burn jumps into NoPixel. He's an awesome RPer, but we played games before RP together. And so we naturally just RP together too. And actually going out on my own in this city and not going in with any friends was like the best move I ever made, because it just allowed me to kind of just go be my own character and, you know, and have fun with it. Well, we put in did we even put in a PD application? I think we did.
This is still on the server that you
right, and so this is still the previous server. I mean, I don't care. Yeah, sure.
What server was it? I'm curious if I heard of it.
Familia RP.
Familia.
Yeah, which and there's actually it's possible you've heard, just because there's been quite a bit of people playing NoPixel from there or just back and forth. But it's loaded, man. I mean, even like I think they're running like 250 with a queue pretty frequently through the weekends.
That's crazy.
With a pretty heavy queue. And so for a free server, dope, right? You know, and not having, and obviously, and not having you know, NoPixel public queue, like good luck with that, you know? And so but yeah, so Arnold hits me, or no, somebody hits me and they're like, hey, can you come? Yeah, so we did put in an application. Somebody like hits me back pretty quick and they're like, will you come in for an interview? Well, I go in there and this one guy starts the interview and like, I don't know, his head pops and he can't get back on. I literally saw him like 3 more times, like after that, like in a 3-month span. But Arnold comes in there. He's like, sorry, I'm gonna have to, redo your interview. So he starts asking me the questions, and I'm like, I'm just jumping in with it, going hardcore Doowee. And this is fresh Doowee, so it's like I'm so excited and just hungry just to have the opportunity to deliver this character to somebody, like somebody soak this in. And Arnold's like, what the hell? So Arnold, I didn't know it at the time. And, obviously we don't get to see all the, behind the scenes Discord conversations with higher ups and, whatever. And so he goes and like gets me hired on the spot. Within 2 days, they have their SOP is a 7 day for cadets minimum, like to go up. So it's really short time, but it's because they bring so many in as public, right?
Sure.
Bro, they just go ahead and make me like a full-blown cop like after like 24 hours, and people are pissed, bro. And so
Not
I'm
my
just
7
like
days. Ugh.
Yeah, like, oh man, like literally full-blown, I think within 24 hours is a full-blown cop. And then had a academy like after 2 or 3 days, which was like, I was in the military a long time ago, so I think things like that just helped me like, gain the information fast and being able to like learn their SOPs quickly. And just I probably knew more of the SOPs on my 3rd day than I do now, just because it was just that quick, like absorb information, you know what I'm saying? And I passed the hell out of my academy like pretty damn good. And and that was it. So and so then we did that so we jumped in, and that's kind of where RP really took off for me. And so that day, that day was around like the 5th of May, I believe. And everything just took off for me, bro. It just, my stream and everything. I went from averaging like 0.2 viewers to like 14 instantly. And it was just literally RP and a cop 12 to 15 hours a day. And it just stayed that way. And there was a lot of things, like I kept getting so annoyed with the Dannies and random OC crap and everything, and just like scenes getting exploded for no reason other than some and people are like, bro, like you got to go, everybody's always telling me like, man, you're meant to be a No Pixel, you're meant to go to No Pixel. And I'm like, dude, there's no way I make it to No Pixel, and I'm thinking this way for months. And finally, man, I just nutted up and put in the app.
When you applied to No Pixel, 2 questions.
All
what
right.
character did you apply with? Was it Doowee? And 2, it was, okay.
Yeah.
2, how many applications did it take before you got in?
1.
My man!
Yes, sir.
Join
I actually heard
the one
back,
club.
Man!
Yo, my boy's like, listen, bro. Like, I tell everybody, I'm like, application's in, let's go, And all right, I'm not gonna lie, I spent 3 weeks on my application. Okay, I was so nervous about the application. I was like, I know I'm the type of person, like, I'm not waiting on anything, bro. Like, if I want something, I want it right this second, and I want to go, And so I was like, I'm not about to put an application. It takes 14 days, 30 days for them to read it, then let me know something. Then I got to do it again. I was going to go another route at that point if I messed around and did that. So over 3 weeks, I just kept going back to it. I would answer a question, and really I just did it like, and without going into the application, I really just did it like, as I felt like storytelling, I guess. Like anytime I felt inspirational, if I woke up and felt good, I was like, cool, I would go down and write more, And so then I would write and I'd go back, write more. And so I submit it. I'm like, hell yeah, guys, we're in. My friends are like, God, remember, people don't get accepted usually the first one, blah, blah. Bro, like 25, 30 minutes later, they hit me and accepted.
What?
And I'm like,
way.
bro, I swear to God, like
What?
30 minutes for real.
Dude, it took me like 4 hours to get accepted. Damn.
Bro, I swear it
4
might have been more like an
hours?
hour,
Yeah.
but it was literally like 30 minutes ish, something like that. It was very fast.
My
They were
man.
on top of it. What? I've never heard of turnover times like that. Typically, it's like 2 weeks. It's like-
Right.
Oh,
Bro,
That's
even
wild.
when I'm so glad it was that day though, bro, because I was literally sitting there just nervous as hell. And I don't know if like my intuition or whatever just felt that they were going to respond that day. But dude, I was so nervous. I just sent it in. I was like, oh God, here we go. Sit here for a couple of weeks. And yeah, man, they just sent me a message back and I'm like sitting here reading it, like trying to read the fine print, Like, where does it say something like just joking?
You want me to stroke your ego a little bit here?
Oh hell yeah!
When I got accepted, on my first app. I popped into Coil's chat and I donated like $20 and I was like, hey Coil, you got accepted to the server. I was just curious. I got accepted my first one. What percentage of people get accepted on their first application? And he was like, oh dude, less than 5% for sure. I was like, nice.
The elite. There we go.
5%ers over here.
You are amongst your peers here. 3 of the people here. I'm not going to name names. 3 of the people here.
You might as well at this time.
It's coming out right now.
I don't want to drag anybody's name through the mud. Hey, at least you weren't a 5 application, Andy.
I was close. I was a 4 application, Andy. I'm too far from a 5.
Hey, we have some 6 and some 0 application Andys on here, so you know. Somebody's got to be middle of the pack.
Wait, who was a 0? Who was a 0? I can't.
God, who was it? Was it one of the people we had on recently? Like their friend like pulled them in, right?
Yeah, from public.
From public, yeah. They just threw him. Was it Nick Sarah?
No, Nexera applied.
No, Nexera
he was the 6 app
times.
Andy, yeah.
Damn.
And
so I got a question. Oh, sorry. What is it? 52? I'm trying to remember.
Nothing.
I can't remember who it was either.
I can't remember. These podcasts are a fever dream.
It might have been Hitaruma
or Spec.
Spec Cypher.
Oh yeah, it might have been. You might have been. So Cleebron, I noticed something kind of weird. I pop in your stream sometimes after I met Doowee because I think you're funny as hell. I think you're a great creator. You get really good viewership numbers and subscriber count compared to your follower count. You have less than 1,000 followers, but I think you're sitting on like over your 3-digit subs right now, right?
Yeah, I'm at 114, 120, which is actually my lowest month I've had.
And your viewership, like I've never seen your stream with less than two digits.
Really?
Yeah.
That's good.
Anytime I
it's
pop
actually no pixel. I'm not gonna lie, no pixel killed my viewership just because of PDTow, obviously.
Yeah, you're just standing there, nobody wants to watch it. But you do such a good job of entertaining people.
Yeah.
So that's a testament to your like creative abilities. So the fact, I don't know if this is still applicable, but the old statistic was you should expect 1% of your follower count to be your regular concurrent viewership, right? So for you to have this, like numbers, like this is really good. I mean, this just shows how like, creative and interesting you are. I'm sure some of these people maybe are coming like dedicated watchers from when you were on your other city.
Yeah.
And you play a lot of Warzone, so I know people love that shit. So
I actually just started that like last week.
Oh, okay, nice.
yeah, I haven't played in over a year. I'm so bad, man. It's so funny to watch.
Sorry, I'll come. I'll throw the backpack on.
Yeah, no. And so I'm guessing you're asking like how on earth did that happen?
Yeah, I'm just curious. What do you think caused that? Why is it like that?
Literally, and I don't really care to be like mad transparent without saying like, oh, I made this. I'm not doing that, but so literally, and I just kind of got to go back and kind of look just for kind of memory here. So basically, when everything popped off, right? I'm telling you, bro, I literally went in May. I had 2.8 average viewers. In June, I had 13 and 827 subs. And I had, I think at that time, 400 followers, something like that. And it was literally, bro, it was so much love, man. And I really approached all of the whole, and I did have a history already streaming before. And then I got into shooting video real heavy, and my video business took off. And so I kind of stopped streaming for
making that
year and a half-ish, and maybe 2 years actually. And so then when I reapproached this, I'd already kind of had, like, I was averaging like 30, 40 viewers before I stopped.
That's great.
And so I'd already kind of had a good, inkling of how to go about it. But, my biggest thing was, and I got 2 of my kids, they're just, I got to be a streamer type thing, And so that's the big thing I try to work with them on is like, if you approach it with how much can I give back to my stream, not how much can they give me? How much can they give me? It's like the love just reciprocates all over the board, and it just comes. And literally, bro, like I just kept putting more and more Doowee energy. It was just hype. You know what I'm saying? Like people are gifting you 100 subs. I never thought I would have 100 subs, and somebody did it at one time. And so I'm like, hey, how y'all doing? Like I'm over here, like, RPing my heart out, bro. you know, and I'm just going hard as I possibly can, making a scene out of nothing. And they just showed so much love, man. We literally went from, we got all the way up to where we're averaging 20 to 25 viewers one month. And which was fire, right? Like in such where it was so fast, I never saw that coming. I knew Doowee was, when we made Doowee, I knew he was going to kind of hit. Like I could feel it. And I've been in the music industry for about 10 years. And so I know I have that good feeling when it's like, okay, I know this is that thing. Like people are going to connect with this. And marketing and like business stuff like that. It's always came natural when it comes to brands and characters, right? And so I knew that Doowee was going to kind of like snap like that, but I didn't think like that. And they just came in and started going crazy, man. And then we ran like 2 subathons. And at one point it literally hit, we had 800 something subs. And we literally, bro, we had like 400 followers. And I was like, guys, like we need to get followers up, you know? And finally it started leveling out. I think now we're finally above 800 and something followers. But and now it's like finally leveling out. But it was still cool though. Yeah, it was amazing.
I was just reading a statistic. As of March 22, 93.3% of streamers have less than 5 viewers concurrently. So if you're getting more than that, you're like in the upper echelons of like Twitch.
That's crazy. That's a crazy stat.
Those numbers are insane. You had what, 400 followers, but 800 subs. That's
insane.
I have never.
Did you have like an oiler, or is this just a bunch of people, or?
Both. We had. I think like I know I had like one dude that probably dropped like
a couple G.
In that month. And he probably he probably dropped like 200 to 300 himself. And then it was just like another dude dropping 50, another dude dropping 100, another dude dropping 10, 15, you know what I'm saying? And then a lot of like 5s and 10s and, you know, and then just the normal subs. And then it was like small things where in the server alone showed me so much love, bro, of where it was like I did my first like big subathon. And they literally like a crazy, one of the best RP scenes I'd ever been in at that point happened. And I was like, hell yeah, I'm amped. You know what I mean? Like it was a big prison break. The dude going around the prison break was just like, he was super, his name's Uncle John's, and he's a character, man. He's a funny dude. Big Browns fan. Browns suck. I know he'll check this out. So make sure we put that out there. Man, we had like this like super cool scene, and I was amped, bro. And so I go and I'm in a 1080, and I'm going after these guys who are in the prison break, right? Well, they're all Bloods and stuff. They're all wearing red. Well, all of a sudden, somehow there's gunshots right when we're getting over towards Davis. There's gunshots right there at that clothing store across from the VU, right?
Yeah.
And so there's like gunshots and stuff. Well, we get over there and they're wearing red too. So we're thinking this is all the same thing, right? So I'm chasing these other people, and it's this huge scene. We end up catching them. I figure out this isn't even the same scene, bro. We literally just ran a 1080 into a completely different scene. They're not even in the same gang. They're just all wearing red. And they took the stream, they put it up in the cloud and just boosted it, bro. We instantly launched up to like 70 something viewers, and it was just like dono heavy and stuff, and they just went crazy.
So on
bro.
That server they would like post people's stream links in like the
not
OOC
normally
chat?
not normally.
That's
no
awesome. That's
yeah,
awesome,
they literally just took it and put it in the OOC chat, bro, and it was just like, oh man, it was amazing.
So something happened recently with Doowee. I want to talk about this.
But before you do, I do have one quick question.
Okay, yeah.
How many stream snipers hit you up?
Oh gosh, bro.
Oh no.
Oh, it's unreal, man. It's unreal. Like, I mean, just driving, just getting rammed hard as can be, you know, but anything, just constantly wanting to create a scene. And sometimes a good scene comes out of it, right? You know, I wouldn't always get mad about it. They did get to the point where they started sitting like staff in my chat. And if you're caught in the chat, then obviously, you know, because it did get that bad. And
That's
then like
thing.
trying to do like detective work and stuff, bro, is impossible, man. It was so impossible to build a scene like that, because as soon as I went somewhere, everybody's gone. As soon as I leave, everybody's there.
That's one thing
That's the
No
worst,
Pixel's
dude.
good at.
Yeah, they're really good
don't
at
have
Yeah,
like,
the stream snipers are very subtle.
Whitelisted city helps a ton with that though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Is like the dissemination of meta is. I think it's scarier on NoPixel too because like they do punish, and so you know the whitelist, the character you've worked so hard on, the community you're a part of, you could lose it all if you fuck up, right? And so it's like you don't fuck up. So,
and when you're in a public city, anybody can come in and start watching, and bam, they're hopping in, and they're like, "Oh, I'm getting a piece of this action," you know?
Yeah.
Trumps, I got to bring up two things real quick. One, the haircut looks great. You're looking good, buddy.
Oh, thanks.
Two, is that a Haze t-shirt from like In City?
Haze Autos?
Yeah.
No shot.
Listen, I didn't want to say it. But no, it's not.
Wait, it's not. But it's Haze Premium Octane.
It does. It's this high octane gasoline, top grade.
Yeah, dude, everybody
95.
he's being humble, but he's wearing he had an
humble,
In-City t-shirt printed.
Listen, I only go to Harmony and I only go to Autos, but I do wear Haze.
So wait,
Haze shirts.
Didn't the PD just lose their contract with Autos?
So I don't think it's the PD. It might be the entirety of PD. I know that Snow was huge in pushing the Pursuit drivers aren't allowed to go to Autos anymore, and we canceled their contract for the Pursuit drivers because they just kept getting kidnapped and nobody was phoning 911. Like, I think James Arsenal was probably. Yeah, I actually one time got held up there, and James Arsenal walked off to the back and did a 911, and I was like, "Good my man. Fucking man!" Right? Like, at first I was kind of like, "Well, that's whatever. I kind of want to get kidnapped because it's fun," but James Arsenal was like, he just walked off to the back, called 911, help showed up. I was like, "Cool, like that's fine." But apparently, people have just been losing their cars, getting held up. Autos. The problem is. Autos it has a proximity, right? It is around the cheapest gas. It's near Mirror Park. It's away from other parts of the city, like Little Seoul. It is within the city.
It's and technically low traffic from a lot of PD. PD typically don't go there unless they're refueling.
Yeah.
See, I don't. If you're Kremlin looking for PD, so? I feel like that's where you go.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
What I mean is,
like cops will just drive by. Like if you're gonna do some crazy shit, you don't want to do it at Legion Square, right? Because it's a very high traffic from PD.
The other thing is PDM is there now.
Yeah.
So the actual like car salesman area.
Dinky. I always forget that it's PDM because it's like rinky dink now.
It is a little smaller. I think it's just a high traffic area, which means that there is more things that are happening there. It's the exact same as it was 20 months ago or whatever, back in February last year with Burger Shot. Burger Shot was this hub of literally everything in the city. There was no crime happening that wasn't at Burger Shot. Like all the shootouts that happened, you know, all of the people getting kidnapped, all of people getting robbed, it happened at Burger Shot. It was just, that was like the place to be for when shit was going down. But I feel like Autos is just getting that simply because of like how popular it is.
Yeah, Burger Shot. I was on Stanky like the other night randomly, and I was on to sell my house, and I ended up finding a buyer, which they just pay you to sell your house so they can buy it. So Stanky like up good now. He's got like 300K. Feels good. But I went to go talk to Shelly because Shelly and Stanky like, you should do so much crime together. Can't believe she's a cop, and like she hired him and she's like, yeah, this place is like sad now. You could hear the depression. It was just like, everyone was like, yeah, it's Burger Shot. Somebody walked in and they'd hired Stanky, so he was like, welcome to Burger Shot. We'll make you the best burger in the world, just the way you like it. Remember, don't do murder, eat a burger. They're like, whoa, you have energy. And he's like, yeah, why wouldn't I? And he's like, nobody's had energy here in months. About too.
Well, I feel like the last month, like my first month, Burger Shot was popping. Like if you wanted something to like, if you needed to get near something, like I stayed over there. It was just like all Little Seoul area as a whole. Like I stayed there just because I knew I would find somebody to interact with me. And that's because that's all I was doing was just riding around trying to interact with anybody, you know. And Burger Shop, man, it was like a demon place over there. But now the past like month, yeah, every time I go by there, it's dead. Super dead.
Yeah, it's been, I think it's just because of what like is going on, like Shelly firing literally everybody and
yeah, it's kind of
Yeah, just like the story that's going on there right now.
Out of character, I think that maybe Shelly should sell the place to somebody who has more energy and wants to turn it back into something, you know? Feels like maybe she's got a lot going on. She's a cop now, which takes a lot of energy and time. And God, it's kind of hard to work at Burger Shot and not be criminal or criminal associated, I think.
The story that they've had as well, like the with Burger Shot, like
the acquisition,
shutting down, getting bought by employees, like they literally raised like a bunch of $1 million to buy Burger Shot from Dean, right? So that Shelly could be the owner. So
Burger Shot was actually my first ever interaction there.
Nice.
It was I pulled up to Burger Shot and Leo was there.
Oh yeah, Leo Hayes.
Yeah,
I know him from another
Federale. The Federale, right?
Cuban.
Yeah.
Oh, Leo. Okay, the Cuban.
Yeah,
I have a bomb.
Yeah, and that's the first person that Doowee literally met. And bro, I swear he was about. I didn't know if he was about to. Now that I know Leo better, it's like he probably wasn't about to kill Doowee, but he was definitely about to hit him with a hammer or something, right? Bro, out of nowhere, a local comes and just dumps on both of the Federales. Like, and they actually kill one of them. The cops come, and I was like, well, Dewey's out of this one. But I was like, man, the damn local just came and killed whatever scene I was about to get, right? like I was like, I'm about to get taken hostage. Maybe, who knows, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't really know too much at that point. And I was like, you know, who knows what was about to happen? All of a sudden, this local just comes up, boom, 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 and takes down one of the Federales. And yeah.
Can I just say something about you, Cleebron? I wish the server had NoPixel had a huge turnover rate with people who are as hungry as you for roleplay encounters, right. And don't care what the encounter is, so long as it's roleplay driven. Just listening to you talk and how much you enjoy it. Oh, I wish there was more of that in the server.
It's which is so silly because again, it's a role play server, right? This is the kind of stuff we should be looking for. Yeah, I mean, everybody's got their own ideas of role play. People like their shootouts and all that and whatnot. But for somebody to say like, oh, I want role play above all else, that's just like, that is like the cream.
That's also been the unexpected hardest part and the most lonely part. Was going from a place where like literally like people would sit there and walk up like, Doowee, can I get your autograph? So Doowee RP signing autographs nonstop. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And you went from, like, going from that to literally just riding on a bike, just like begging for interaction, you know, for hours was literally the most like, it was humbling. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It was very humbling, but it was also an eye opener. We knew obviously a good RP server things have to be clickish. How else do you keep the bad from getting in, right? You have to kind of make a wall.
There has to be shit tests, right, for people to get past.
Right, you know, and so I knew that going in, but bro, like I felt it was like half the people I would encounter were just like, you know, like fuck off, bro, fucking weirdo. You know what I mean? Like, my bad. Can I cuss?
No, go on.
Have I been cussing the whole time?
Don't fucking cuss again.
Have I been cussing the whole time or no?
It is a Christian podcast.
Is this piece of shit been cussing this whole time?
Like, yes, probably.
This motherfucker.
Can you fucking stop?
Okay, thank you. Okay, cool. Yeah, that's and honestly, even like up until, bro, I didn't even start feeling like I was getting anywhere socially until, bro, like maybe a week or two ago. I'm not gonna lie. And that's really like what RP really is to me is and like as far as like GTA RP, it's literally, I think I told you this earlier, bro. To me, it's like political warfare, bro. It's who can get the best political status to, you know, and have the biggest network of people to pull off the most amount of shit, right?
Yeah.
Like and it's literally just a social contest of like who can get in social and who can't. And you never know how this group of people is going to take to you. And that was and I think that was a big mind fuck for me with Doowee was I was like, man, yeah. And I was trying to tell like my buddies that they're like, man, just dive in, you know, but they're going to love Doowee. And I'm like, everywhere I go, I'm like, I feel like everybody hates Doowee, you know? And I'm like, guys, like maybe they just don't like Doowee. Like, you know how many times I thought about CK and Doowee and NoPixel already? I was like, dude, people hate this guy. You know, I was like, I feel like I just annoy everybody. And then I started realizing a lot of it is how much self-injected characters you deal with as well. and it's still obviously heavy here, and that obviously goes back to like the esport kind of aspect of it. And so you encounter a lot of people that are more so self-injected in the RP, and you obviously you don't want to force anybody into RP, right? And so that I try to just be very inviting with it, where it's like whatever comes out of this, I'm gonna accept and go with. And if nothing does, then hey, whatever. And as soon as I feel that vibe from somebody, like I don't want to talk to you, I'm like, okay, well, have a good one. See you later.
Dude, the second I saw Doowee at the PDTow, I was like, I love this guy. Holy shit, I love this guy.
Yeah.
The moment I saw him, I was like, oh, this guy's got energy. First of all, when you've been PDTow for as long as I have, you know how soul sucking it can be. So the fact that not only I genuinely like you and Cherry, I feel like have brought a ton of life to PDTow.
I love Cherry, bro. I love
you
Cherry
guys,
so
you guys
much.
have so much energy. You interact really well. You lean on each other in a really strong way.
I know. I wish, and we actually have like mad different hours usually too. Like, I've thought about switching my schedule to Cherry's schedule so many times just because and he's like one of those people, like sometimes when you RP with people and stuff, you can tell that they're probably just a genuine, just good ass person outside of that character as well. And that's how Cherry is, man. Like, you can tell Cherry's just probably just a good ass dude, bro. Like anybody that can nonstop RP somebody being nice all the time when everybody else is so mean to you. Bro, you gotta have something to you, man. Dude, people are so mean to them, man.
Oh, I should fake RP. I should make Cherry too. Like,
bro, have you heard Chaz do his voice?
No.
He sounds just like him. He was doing what's her name? Oh, really? The dispatch chick sounds like a robot with the blue hair.
Really?
He was
a criminal or something.
Yeah, we had him doing a conversation between Cherry and her, but he was doing both the voices. Oh my god, it was epic, bro. And Cherry, I also want to promote Cherry being a cop. Cherry should be a cop one day.
Hell yeah.
As Cherry.
Yeah, yeah. I don't think they'll let him wear the cherry head, but
see, I think he has to. I think he has to.
They just won't let him.
I know.
Dude, you know what?
I know.
I'll push for it. I'll push for him to wear the hat.
I'd be like,
I'm about to get shirts
Vigor
made
gets to wear his
with Cherry as a
mask.
cop.
But Vigor's also an admin, so.
But it's like,
think
that's
it's
literally who
probable.
the character is. You know what I'm saying? And I don't feel like it's something where, because I could definitely see, like, from like a administrative standpoint, you're like, we got a guy with a mask that has a different voice running around as a cop. How many ways could this go bad, right? He takes the mask off, changes his voice, whatever. I don't think that's the scenario though, right? It's like this is who the character is, right? Like he doesn't want. I've never seen Cherry with his mask off ever. Has anybody? And that Cherry has some cheeks on it. You have?
Yeah, I've seen him. I've seen him with the helmet off and with the mask off. Yeah.
Oh, I've never seen with the mask off.
It was at the hospital, but I pretend like I don't know what it looks like.
Did he have 3 million viewers watching when he did it?
No, I don't think
Like
so.
who was the guy that just did that?
What was it? Oh, Dream.
I don't know. I don't even know who that was,
a
man. He took
Minecraft
off his
streamer.
mask. I felt bad. I was like, bro, I didn't know
I
who
only
it
know
was.
because I watched
beforehand.
Ludwig and he talked about it. So
I was really glad to know what he looked like, though.
were you excited? You're happy, This is me.
Yeah, like, yes, I've waited so long, the past 10 minutes. But yeah, no, Cherry's a goat, man.
I actually have a story about him from about a year ago. I may have still been a cadet, I believe. Got my car stolen. This was back when police cars were just a regular lockpick. They weren't an advance. It was before the advanced lockpick. So it was pretty damn easy. It was, $300 to steal a police car, essentially. Had my police car stolen. No idea where it went. 20, 30 minutes later, I'm like doing stuff in MRPD and I come outside and my car's there and Cherry's next to it. And he goes, what did he say? I can't even remember exactly what he said. He's like, I think he actually admitted to stealing my car. But then he said he felt bad. So he went and he got it fully repaired at Hayes. Like the showroom repaired 100%. Got me gas and then brought it back and left it out front and said, yeah, I felt bad about taking it.
Yeah. Cherry's never shot anybody, bro. Never.
That's not true.
I don't even think he's ever shot a gun.
That's not true. He shot that guy in the lot the other night to save us.
He didn't get his. I don't think he got his gun out.
He did. I'm pretty sure he did.
Okay, well then yeah, that would have been the first one.
Actually, I didn't have quite the angle to see it, but I think I saw him draw it.
Yeah, because I think he said something like he was trying to go for it finally, and yeah, but yeah, no, because he was in a gang right at that time. I think like when your car got stolen, I think he was in a gang at that point. I'm pretty sure.
It may have been even like earlier than that.
Yeah, Cherry's kind of OG-ish at the moment. Like he's actually been around for a while. I don't even remember what his number is, but his like state ID is like mad low.
Did nobody clip the tow yard shootout? Were you streaming during the tow yard shootout the other night?
Let's see. I might even have your clip. I have mine somewhere. Let's see.
Dude, the fucking...
Oh my gosh, bro. So that was so bad though, right? So I come around and as soon as I pull out my gun, it hits me. I don't have a crosshair. Now, I had never had a crosshair until my most recent city. And when I went in there, I was like, oh, I'm a god. You know, I'm like melting everybody, just taking heads off because I have a crosshair. Well, that kind of helped me, though. I instantly realized I did not have my crosshair turned on or anything. And so I'm just like blasting. I'm just trying to line this guy up in the middle of the screen. And I don't even think I ever hit him, bro, until he was jumping up on top of the tow truck. And then I catch him like right in his ass.
Mm-hmm.
And let's see if I actually have it, though. I think I have yours downloaded too, actually, where you see your gun jam.
Yeah. If you want to post that in the show links.
Let me see if I can find it. I got another funny one from you too.
Do you?
He said if I shoot him first, I don't need any backup.
I don't remember. I say some wild shit.
Yeah, I had no idea.
I actually have the clip yet. Hold on, let me see. Look at my files. Actually, there's no way I don't have that clip yet. I've been doing so bad with clips, bro. Is that the hardest thing for y'all to remember ever? Is to hit clip or marker even?
I don't use markers at all. I just hope chat clips it for me.
Yeah, I've done the same. I got a stream deck button for clips, and I really only do it when like
it only does like 30-second clips though. Like with the stream deck, right? It only does 30 seconds instead of 16.
It just grabs like the last 30 seconds, but still, it's one of those things where at least it's like a marker, you know.
You can go back and get your highlight. Later. Let's see, which one is this?
Or just reclip it, whatever. Like
here, I got one. Let me post it in the.
I was streaming, but my POV is it's dog water because I was in there.
Yours was funny as hell, man.
Before 52 shows us this, dude, 52, your comms after that were so clean. That was the first, like, no offense. Actually, yeah, offense. This is the first time that I heard you sound like a cop. Like on the server. It was wild. I genuinely, like, you're making it.
Yeah.
I had no idea he was like standing there watching the whole time.
So the context for this clip, is that some dude had been, his name is like Johnny Sinner or Johnny Sins or something. He'd been fucking with PDTow all day, and he kept trying to park his car in, and cops kept telling PDTow, like, don't let this fucking guy in here. Get him out of here. And finally, John Hydra's like, he's like trying to pretend to be a cop, and John Hydra's like annoyed at him for annoying PDTow all day. Out of character, I love when people do that because it gives them something to do. But in character, John Hydra's like, it's my boys. It's my boys. So he's like, hey, man, get the fuck out of here. They're towing your car, and there's like, it's illegally parked. I'm authorizing the tow. He's, you can't do that. So he steals a moped and like chases us down. And I realize it's going to happen. And I know there's another officer there with us. I can't remember his name. Really cool guy. But he comes
really cool guy.
Really cool guy. He actually is. But he's like, I saw what was happening. I decided to go too. And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it. And I kind of goes from here. So I actually hide in the tow truck. I like lay down between the car and the bed of the truck. And this guy shows up thinking it's just a tow. And he like ends up trying to tough guy RP. And he almost does it until
the other cop's like, we might have to arrest him. And all of a sudden Hydra pops out from the car. Actually, we are arresting him. It just pops out of nowhere. Yeah, hell yeah. Run it.
Anchor, things don't go.
Well, he finally got him, Cherry. I know you've been waiting all day for that one.
Oh, that was He's been thorn in my side for like all week.
Well, I'm gonna arrest him. If you guys put in a paperwork, I'll arrest him for criminal threats.
Suspect on the ground and one on.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, fucking night.
Good night.
Sorry, 1090 broke up.
One on the roof only. They're the only suspect we see right now. You want me to send some photos in like the report
Here he comes on the moped.
Yeah, A-firm.
You know what brand this truck is, Hydra? It's a tow gaudy.
Stand by. We're gonna see if we can find an opportunity.
Sir,
to snipe him out.
I need you to leave now.
Oh yeah, I'll leave as soon as I get in my car. Don't worry about it.
Actually, he's going to jail.
I don't think I am.
Hands, sir. I need to see your hands right now.
For what?
Criminal threats. Face away from me, sir.
On who?
These two gentlemen right here.
I love it.
Face away from me. There's a lawful order.
I don't think so.
Hey, he's running. Powerful ass shit.
Hell with you and your law.
Go for it. Go for it.
Going for cuffs.
Oh.
Laser deployed. Go for kips. Look at them fucking pros.
Wait a second. I think I showed up just after this. How mad was this guy?
This guy was pissed. Go for it.
Yes, sir. Tase me off my bike.
Going for cuffs. Oh, I guess I'm not.
Harvey was.
That's Harvey Holden. That's who it is, right?
Yeah.
You go ahead and switch to lethal here. Doesn't hit somehow.
When you said that, he said, "What the hell?" Switching to lethal. You can't hear it on this one.
Oh, you're out.
I'm out.
I'm not. Oh, exactly.
Just let us know if you need us to tackle him.
Yeah, tackle him. I recently switched my button, so I kept hitting the wrong thing.
I
I
don't.
think I have eyes on a second person.
Pulls out his gun.
I got a gun.
Little roof.
78, tow yard.
Okay, so I definitely did show up just after this.
Look, my gun. Did you see that? It goes click, click. It like shoots twice.
Little roof.
78, tow yard. That's one mouse press, by the way.
Way back PUBG days, though, bro. I was slicing pie like crazy on this guy.
Unrelated.
Oh.
Doowee fucking dangles, boy.
Dude, I had no idea everybody was down.
Good shit.
It
It
must
was
have not.
eerie and quiet.
If this was the day that you guys did Taekwondo too,
Yeah.
so it must have been really rough for cops to arrive on scene and see all you guys with masks.
Pissed, bro.
Just after a
gun
78
wouldn't
call
shoot,
where
that
there
was
was
crazy.
no
Hey, whoever's at the
information
tow yard,
given.
Back the fuck out.
An announcement was made like 10 minutes later.
Yeah, so that was just like a little rough storm. I understand why they weren't for the Taekwondo thing now, just because of how this went down.
What is it in relation?
You can pause it.
That's
But
funny.
yeah.
Yeah, I almost shot Doowee. If you had a gun in hand, I would have shot
Yeah,
you. I
dude,
didn't know it was
put
you.
his hands up. It was smart.
Yeah, you saved your life.
Yeah, hell yeah, bro. I instantly, when I realized everybody was down, I was like, uh-oh. Like, this might be an issue. Because at first, I was like, the only reason I even came around and shot was I knew you had went around the corner. I was like, no way. Because I knew once he fired those shots and he went back, I was like, okay, Hydra's down. You know, so that's when I came around.
He won me too. He headshot me with that. I think it was a Desert
It was
Eagle.
quick.
Because
Yeah.
he won me with that.
You know what it is?
What's that?
The roll animation, right? While that's going on, you can still line up your shots.
Oh,
So
that's
as
true.
soon
yeah,
as
yeah,
you
yeah.
came out of the roll animation, he had tapped you.
Yeah,
Yeah,
if you
no,
look, that was
he
literally
came
one
from-
mouse click for full auto. It went click, click, and that was it.
I think he'd already downed you at that point.
Yeah, maybe it was a desync or something.
And I'm pretty sure Cherry was jumping across the bullets and got domed. I'm pretty sure is what happened.
He took one for the boys.
Like, I'm pretty sure on mine you see him actually like jump across and just get smacked right in the face.
So I rolled up. I think I was just getting on duty. I rolled up past this to kind of see what was going on, and I heard this guy getting taken off, like driven to the hospital or whatever. Oh, so he was so mad. It was
Yeah, he was
in character. He was just very, very mad.
He actually threatened PDTow that if they didn't pay him $50,000 by Friday, that he was going to kill every single one of them. I wasn't there Friday. I don't know what happened, so hey, not my
You're like,
problem.
I'm not at work today. Yeah, it's funny because
he actually sniped Cherry, but nobody could prove it was him. But he then called Chaz and was like, "Yeah, you're next." Like, yeah, guys on a tangent right now, man.
I talked to a bunch of officers about him. Like, he's like kind of a PD hangaround. He was like a cool guy. People are like, oh, we like this guy. I can't believe he snapped like this.
Who is it?
Johnny Sins or Johnny Sinner or something.
Oh,
like that.
okay, that guy. Yeah.
I don't think anything even would have got like weird for him either. If like, and it probably just would have kept going. I think it was the secret, like him claiming he was a secret agent in the parking lot constantly and refusing to show ID. I think
When
is what
he was like
where it
pestering
went bad
cops a
for him.
lot, which is like the number one way to like get kicked out of the cool kids club, is just like by being annoying.
Yeah, but that's what I did, but I got in.
Dude, isn't it crazy though, bro? It's such a fine line, bro. Of like, when getting in PD is the most nerve-wracking, stressful thing on the planet, bro. It's literally like that just riding the line of like going hard, but not hard enough to where they hate you, but also not slow enough to where they don't even like you or know you. You know,
realize who you are.
I think Carmine has a big thing going for him in that 52 plays him really well as a character, and it's very obvious that he's a character. Whereas this Johnny Sinner guy, he kind of uses his own voice. I'm not saying he's self-insert, not saying that at all, but he doesn't do any like weird voices, which is fine, you don't have to. But then he like doesn't like emphasize things. He's very casual with the way. So it kind of, when he says like, "Oh, let me in," it doesn't sound like, "Haha, let me in, wink wink." It sounds like I'm allowed to be here, let me in. Which like we have people do, and like that's a big problem. You can lose your job for letting the wrong person into PD.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's a big thing with RP though in general though, right? Of it's so much easier to accept RP and roll with RP when you can identify somebody as a character.
Yeah.
And you know, and anytime somebody does something to make themselves more of a character, whether they change their, even like with my Big B, right? I'm like my Crim, it's dude, I don't even like do anything different except I just say bruh constantly, bro. He's so annoying. I'm like, what's good, bro? What you doing, bro? Hey, bro, you ain't talking to me like that, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, just say, bro, every 5 seconds, bro. That's all. That's all it is. You know what I mean? But it still helps him be a character, and people identify him as a character. Where it's like you can do more, maybe toxic or maybe just whatever, and people accept it. You know, where it's like if I approach somebody with my normal voice and whatever, it's like even though I might be RP and hardcore, they don't identify it as RP as much. You know, and I think that's always been something that's helped me. And that's why I don't really do any normal voice characters, only because it helps me dive into it. Where it's like, if I don't, I feel like I'm just going to be self-inserted no matter what. Like I could be
you can't help it. You start getting emotional about stuff because you don't have like the bridge of like silliness to separate you from the character. And then somebody can say, "Hey, I think you're a dumb idiot and your voice sucks." And you're like, "But that's my voice. Now I feel like a dumb idiot."
I'd go in there as a bald guy with a beard and they're calling me like a bald bitch. And I'm like, I'm mad offended now. Like,
so I
got to pop a cap in somebody's ass, man.
So I played a lot of Littleman the last couple weeks.
Oh, it's been so good. It was so good. The stories, that's the thing is about the Littlemans. I'm sorry to interrupt, but we've had such like a hard time coming up with like anything that isn't just us being shitlords, right? Like it just like some kind of story, a thread of prolonged role play. It's like, oh, it's so good.
So good. Now that it's over, I'm willing to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it before then. I sat down with my girlfriends and we were talking about my characters in the Little Mix. They're very supportive. They're super supportive. They're like my best friends. They really help me like figure stuff out. And when I'm feeling bad, I'll play a clip and they'll be like, I think you're taking this in a way that they didn't intend. And I'll be like, you know what? You're probably right. Let me shoot them a message. So they're super cool and supportive in that way. And I was talking about the Little Mix. I said, hey, I'm having a problem because Miles and Troms have these characters, the Littlemans, and I played a bunch of clips and showed them. And they play them really well. But I often feel like when I'm playing with them, like instead of adding to the situation, I'm taking away from it. Like I'm being distracting or I'm not like going with the flow because they have like a very, like they're very in sync with the way they play. And I don't feel like I'm on the same wavelength. I feel like I'm in the same like genre, but not on the same wavelength.
Yeah.
I was like, so we were talking like, what can I do to provide them with like, we broke down like your complaints. Like you were talking about how it feels like we've done everything already. It feels like, you know, we're kind of like just doing the same thing over just with different color schemes on. And so they're like, what if you did something like dramatic? And I was like, oh, that's actually a really good idea. And then we talked about like, what if something happened? So actually the day that you were doing the Littleman quiz in Legion Square, when that other Littleman almost permit, I was like, no, he can't permit because I want to do that. And then it was like in a dumb way. And then I was like, okay, I've decided I'm gonna do this if it feels right. I'm not just gonna artificially do it. I'm gonna do it if something happens that feels right, and it's not from a Littleman, because I don't want like Jim to punch me to die. I don't think that's impactful, and it doesn't provide as much RP to the Littlemans.
Oh my god, such a freaking good place to do it too. Like
so,
that was impactful.
Yeah, and so we were doing the it felt so cool. I was the one going like 3, 2, 1, heave. It just felt so cool and so right. So for people that don't know, can we play the Miles video? I would love to.
It's 3 minutes long.
Is it 3 minutes? Oh, never mind. Yeah,
It's 3 minutes long.
I watched it. I'll post it in here, but
yeah, we'll put it in the show. Post it. We'll put it in the show notes.
Can't believe
Long
you
story
didn't
short,
invite me.
Yeah.
The Littlemans break into the DOC, and they honestly. There's
Well,
like
hold on. This needs a little context first of all, because this actually has led to some really good role play on top of that.
Long story short, we killed a guy.
We were, for whatever reason, we were being volunteer EMS with. Well, it was unofficial volunteer EMS with Tim Burrattler, which, by the way, fucking Tim, amazing, love that guy.
Super good.
We're doing that, and we end up going to the Humane Labs, and at the Humane Labs there was a downed DOC, I believe, and I don't know what they were doing, but they had the bus out, and the bus was there, and the bus is still just a regular lockpick to steal. Yeah, we know that because it's probably the #1 vehicle we've stolen from government employees. So anyway, we have the bus, we steal it, we drive it off. And immediately Jim tweets out that we're selling it, because that's Jim. He's like, we gotta sell this thing. It'll be funny. We put it up on Twitter. We get a couple offers. The first one is the Cubans. Cubans want to buy it. We're like, okay. And then I think the Hidden get in, or like some members of the Hidden.
I randomly call the Hidden because I know the Cubans want it, and then I start like creating like beef between the Hidden and the Cubans immediately. I'm like, they're saying they're gonna kill you if you try to buy it. They say that this is their territory. You got nothing. And the Hidden are just dude. I'm falling in love with this gang the more I like interact with them.
The Hidden are excellent. Yeah, so we decide, okay, come on down to the golf course. We're gonna have an auction for this DOC bus, right? And we have like a joke auction, we're like, we expect like maybe they're going to pay like 10K, right?
Like 68 trillion was the final.
Yeah, 68 trillion ended up being what they were just rolling high numbers to see, if they were how much they were going to bid. Anyway, I was like, you know what would be better than this is if we come up with like a scenario, we actually like get something for them to do. And we also found out the DOC wanted to be part of the auction. So I was like, all right, let's make like an event. Like we can have something that everybody can participate in. It's not just like giving us money. So I was like, scavenger hunt. We'll go on a scavenger hunt. Everybody has to go collect like these items, go around the city, get everything. So I did. In like 5 minutes, we created like a quick scavenger hunt. It had people going around the city to like go to stores and stuff like that, like to get a postcard or to get a fish, like to just like use things in the city that like other people have already set up, right? So we send all 3 groups, the DOC, the Hidden, and the Cubans out to get these items, right? The DOC are the first to return. They show up. They've got 4 of the 5 items, and I think one was a selfie. One was like a selfie at the top of a crane. They've got 4 of the 5 items and a selfie. So I haven't put everything in the trunk, and I was like, I'm looking it over. I'm like, okay. And then I was like, wait, you guys have everything but the fish. And I look up, and one of the DOC's stolen the bus and is driving off with it. So at first I'm like, I'm a little disappointed. I'm like, well, come on, like, we're trying to make role play for everybody here. Like, just just bring it back.
Sometimes you just want to yell like, yo, you're killing my scene, by the way.
Yeah. Anyway, so Hydra, why don't you explain what happened? Because you were in the bus with Yui
so Krim Littleman was in the bus, and so she's going, and I'm calling for help, and I'm doing like Littleman comms, right? She goes left again, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like
left.
And then I'm like,
roads.
I'm like, me tries to throw DOC driver out of the bus, and she's like not playing along at all. She's like not going with it. And she's like, I'm wearing my seatbelt. And I'm like, I roll to like unbuckle her seatbelt and I win. And then I'm like, me tries to throw her out. And she's like, I'll push you out. And I roll like a 16, she rolls like a 20. So I'm like, and I get thrown out of the bus, right? I had a gun. I could have just held her up, but that just didn't feel right. I mean, I probably should have in retrospect. Just because like, if I don't do that, my stance is often guns and RP, which is not true, but they put a hard stop on what other people can do, right? It like pauses the momentum of the RP and it redirects it. So I'm really like hesitant to just pull guns out. So I didn't want to just do that. In retrospect, by doing that, I could have extended the RP by letting the Littlemans and the Hidden and the Federales catch up. So that was a mistake on my part. But I get out and then I immediately head pop. I'm like, motherfucker. So I come back in and they're like, we're going to the prison. We're getting the bus back. And I'm like, perfect. And I end up getting a ride. And then go ahead from there if you want.
Okay, so the DOC stolen the bus and they take it back to the prison, which we just kind of assumed. And I think I even called one of them. I was like, you cheaters, you guys you're cheating at the game. You guys agreed to participate, right? And I'm like, I'm a little disappointed. I won't admit. I'll admit I was a little bit disappointed.
They could have followed through.
But I was like, all right, well, what's done is done. I'm not going to be like, undo it, retcon, right? So I'm like, all right, how do we move on with this? And I was like, well, now we have to rally the troops, right? So we get the Cubans, we get the Hidden, and I tell them, I'm like, listen, come to the prison. We have to get the bus back. Like the DOC are out. They cheated. They stole the bus. We got to take it back so that the real winners can do it. And the Hidden like showed up like minutes later and they had everything. They had the fish. They had like, they went out and they collected all the items. Like they did great.
They sent me the selfie so fast.
Yeah. Yeah. They were amazing when it came to that.
The people that grind the city, man, they know where to, it's like, that's their moment to shine.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
It was literally just like go around the entire city and just grab things. Like it was so simple and it was just like easy and everyone can participate. It wasn't even like you didn't even need a lot of money to be able to do it. You needed like maybe $2,000 at most.
Just knowledge.
It's like where to get stuff. So we all go down to the prison, right? And I'm on the phone. I'm with Yui who stole the bus. And I'm like, Yui, you got two options. Hold on.
Yui, you got two options. Listen up. Option 1, you give the bus back. Everything's fine. I don't declare you a cheater. Or option 2, you go to war.
So I'm like declaring a war on them. She's like, we're not giving the bus back. And I'm like, all right. So we're standing at the gate and the DOC come up. And then I'm not sure. I think it's the Cubans. They just start like, they just use like /E pull. And there's a couple of them just standing there, like just pulling on the gate. And I'm like, man, what if we were to pull this gate open, right? Like, I'm just like, if more of us do like /E pull, maybe it'll look like the gate is gonna, open and somebody will just hit their key fob and open it for us, right? So I'm like, I do /E pull, then another person, and then I'm like realizing it, right? And I'm like, all right, everybody, we're gonna pull this gate down. Right. And then so we're all pulling and shouting like heave, and one of the DOC notices and they're like, okay, well,
it was actually the same girl who like wasn't playing along on the bus. I think maybe she like felt bad or
no, that wasn't her.
Oh, was it not? I thought it was the different redheaded girl.
No.
Okay.
Yui was the one on the bus with you.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, she's has a bit of a voice changer. I believe they're played by a dude.
I don't remember.
Anyway, so one of the DOC notices that like 10 of us are pulling on the gate. So they open the gate, right? And then like none of us have weapons. We're all just like, we're literally just like shouting, we want our bus back. So we get to the second gate, right? And nobody's been told not to do anything at this point. Like nobody's been said like, don't come in, you're going to get shot. So we pull down the second gate. And the DOC opens the gate, obviously, to make it seem like we pulled it open. But we get inside.
And then without any warning.
No warning whatsoever. Every angle, they had them in the towers. They had them on the rooftops. DOC with class 2 weapons. Gun every one of us down. Except for Jim, who had like a short gunfight.
Like fish in a bowl,
Jim
man.
and like 2 of the Hidden.
Yeah.
That hidden popped off, by the way. He like clapped like 3 DOC.
I don't think he did.
Did
I
he
don't think
not?
he downed any
From
of
my
them. No.
point of view, I saw him hit a bunch of people. I thought I saw him.
Oh
go
yeah, he
down.
hit them, but I don't think any of them actually went down, which is unfortunate.
You're just like in a pit of death at that point.
Yeah, we literally just walked into a firing range. So, Krim, our beloved brother, takes a bullet, one too many bullets actually, and he unfortunately perishes. So it's funny because that whole situation has created like an absolute ton of new role play. It led to us eventually saving John Hydra's life. Because we had a body already, which was great. Because we're the brothers of him and he had no other immediate family, we were allowed to ask for custody of the body, and we did like a weekend at Bernie's thing with him. We like just took the body around the city for a while with Hydra.
Big shout out to 52 Chains, by the way.
Oh yeah,
as long as you didn't look at the profile of Johnny Hydra. If you look at
what did I call him? I called him Schnoz Hydra or something.
Hydra. If you look, his face is squat and long.
It's really fucking funny.
But considering that you did it in like 5 minutes, it looked so good.
Oh, it did look really good.
So we had 2 of my characters in the same place at the same time. Dude, it was dude, it felt like such a moment for me. It was so sick. I'm so happy everybody.
That was really good. And then like the moment between you and Jenny in the hospital too.
Yeah.
Like, just good role
So
play.
what we're saying is sometimes guns lead to more RP.
Yeah,
this actually
they're like opening the door for every RDMer. They're like, I'm trying to help your RP, bro. You guys shot RP it. Like,
I'm just trying to give you guys
I've always been with you,
play.
man. Like, dude, I think I've always been so big on the second the guns are drawn, you might as well just axe the scene. You know what I mean? And I've had so many things that where it was like 10 minutes, or not even, I mean, it was just like a scene goes, like, we're talking like 2 minutes into the scene. Bam, guns are drawn. I don't even know what's going on, and I'm getting shot at. And I'm like, guys, like, we had, especially if it's like with a huge organization, right? And higher ups with that organization, and then higher up with cops. It's like there's endless amounts of RP that can come of this. It can go any direction, but the second you pull the gun out and gun everybody down, it's over. And we all love shootouts, you know. Then Dave, shootouts are always fun, you know. But I don't know. That's the way I've always felt about it. But I do see like in that scenario, it's saying like sometimes it can move it on a little bit more.
What's funny too is because that's been something that we've considered like the whole way as Littlemans, is that when we pull out the guns, we control the scene. So we've very, very rarely will shoot. Like I think we've been in like 3 gunfights over like the year and a half that we've been around on these characters. Like
Dewey's actually only been shot once.
As chief of police?
No.
Oh,
and
Doowee
no,
Pixel?
oh god, no,
Okay.
god, no, man. Oh Lord, no. Hey man, Dewey's probably died 30 times a day. No, but in No Pixel though, Dewey's actually only died 1 time, and it was to Kyle Pred.
Yeah,
bro. And this was still like my super early nervous days, right? Like I'm so nervous, bro. And I'm just kind of riding around, just looking for interaction. Well, this guy comes up randomly and throws something on the ground. He's like, you know, here, look, like, you know, in the back part of the parking lot, I guess where like the arcade thing is of Uwu. And so he drops something down. I go pick it up. It's a fucking AK, bro. And so I like, when does that happen? A random guy just walks up to you and drops an AK and says, here, take this. And I literally, so Dewey has on his, really? Like, I was like, I couldn't believe it. And so I'm sitting there, I pick up this AK and I'm like, he's like, yeah, you look, he was actually like, he was European of some sort. And he was like, yeah, you look real patriotic. Now I'm like, hell yeah. Well, little does he know, Dewey's the biggest snitch in the world, you know? So I'm instantly like, okay, like we got to snitch on this guy. I'm looking over at Uwu and I see a cop car, and I'm not even thinking that far, like, you know, it's a gray cop car, you know, like this might be, you know, so it's an unmarked gray cop car. I'm just thinking there's a cop in there. There's somebody snitched to, right? This guy walks up, he's like, yo, there's a cop in there, you know, blah, blah. I'm like, yeah, I know. I'm trying to turn this gun in because this damn criminal had a AK over here and the guy's still over there in parking lot. So I'm like, great. So Cred walks out and I'm like, oh God. Like, as soon as he walks out, I'm like, here we go. I'm nervous as hell anyways, right? And so I'm like, hey, sir, like I need to turn this gun into. He's like, get your fucking hands up. Every server I've ever been in my life, X is to put your hands up, okay? So I'm over here like tapping the shit out of X, like put your hands up, man, put your hands up. I'm like, sir, I'm you know, and I'm like,
I'm
stuttering.
trying.
And he's like, get your fucking hands up, get your fucking. I'm like, sir. He's like, get your fucking hands up. Boom, 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 just lays Doowee out. And I'm like, sir, ow, neighborhood watch. I was just trying to, you know, blah blah. And he's like, oh shit. And he's like, not again, because this was right after, I guess it was like the week before, 2 weeks before, was when Pred had just gunned down somebody at Uwu, and it turned into all that shit. I don't remember what it was. But he's like, oh shit, not again, you know? And so he's like, oh, he's like, this man's a hero, get him some help. And you know, and fucking ends up calling EMS and, you know, gets him right or whatever. And yeah, that's the only time Dewey's ever been shot. The only time ever. But everybody else on PDTow gets blown up by a bomb every day. Somehow I just dodge all those bullets, man. Or I guess bombs, I don't know. But yeah, I don't really get shot ever. Or shot at. Just hit with a lot of hammers.
I get shot at a surprising little as a cop. I think I just talk to people a lot.
Yeah, I'm the same way. It's surprisingly little compared to other people.
That time the other day where we got big dicked by those random guys. That's the first time I've ever been hey wranglered.
Yeah, that was. Somebody reached out and asked me if I had reported those guys, and I was like, you know, I've just moved on with my life. Yeah. Like, I can't dwell on that. I'm just gonna move on.
It was like
they were like, okay. I'm like,
so
yeah,
how
if you want.
So like, and all y'all have pretty much been cops for a good little minute now. But I guess Karma, you haven't been on a crim though, have you? Since you've been a cop.
I do have a crim, but
crim is a cop.
I'm gonna call you Karma like 52 times today. Okay, I'm just gonna let you know. But so how is it when you're a crim, right? And cops already, and obviously, I feel like the biggest thing with cops is always like dodging they know who I am, so they go 10 times harder on me, right? Like when you are a crim but you're a cop, your other character, your main character is a cop, and you are a crim. Like, how is it there? Like in No Pixel, is it like, do you guys feel like when cops see you, they just go extra hard to try and like bust the case wide open on you and like just like arrest you immediately, or do you feel like they do good about dragging it on further?
Like you have to give them cues, right? Like you have to let them know how you want it to go, right? Whether it's through your role play or like literally reaching out. Like for instance, with serial killer role play, right? Like, yeah, some of it is a little bit better to do on the fly, but if you really want to kill somebody, you're gonna make sure that they're gonna be a person who's gonna die. Right?
Yeah. No, come back 5 seconds later.
Yeah, so you kind of gotta convey what you want through your role play.
Because that's always been like my one key problem in being elsewhere, is where Dewey's so known. It's like, even though I changed my voice, like you still, you know, it's not that crazy. You know, people still know it's you. I even got voice ID'd in No Pixel, bro. Somebody was like, Dewey? I was like, no, like, because I was in a car, and I'm like, nah, bro, it ain't Dewey, bro. Like, you know, and but that was always like the hardest part, to a point where I was like, dude, I don't even want to be a crim, because it was like, I felt like every time I was on my crim, like I was jaywalking, and they're like trying to like immediately arrest. When it's like, bro, not yet. Like, don't arrest me yet. Like, give me 3 hours and then arrest me. You know what I'm saying? Like, because that's my goal as a crim. I want to be arrested. But the thing is, I want to do as much stupid stuff as I can before then. Like, I'm trying to take your car and sell it to some other guy for, you know, $500. Like, I just want to do as much dumb things and then get arrested.
Is exactly what Shane said earlier. Like, it's that mentality that like, I want role play, right? There's so many people who are like, I don't want to get arrested. Fuck the cops. Like, I hate them.
But bro, when they know you though, and the cops know you as like a friend, even outside of, you know, OC as hell, it's like they instantly are like, oh, I'm getting this motherfucker. Like, you can't go on a chase because they're going to pit you after 30 seconds. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's like, man, can I get a 2-minute timer, fam? Like something, you know? And it's just like, I feel like they just go so hard. And I've always just wondered what that balance is like, especially watching somebody like maybe like how Penta will go. He goes just as hard on like Mike Block, right, as Wrangler, and just goes mad hard on him. And that's why I was just like, because I do that, but they're going 10 times harder on me. You know what I mean? Like,
Pinta has the advantage that people either are on their best behavior around him or absolute fucking degenerates, and one way or the other, it makes it great for him.
Right.
But if anybody else tries to do some of the stuff that he does, sometimes it doesn't work out quite as well.
I don't know. It just always seems like crims crims that have cop characters do always seem to like, I don't know. In my eyes and watching it seems like it always does like go pretty far. It doesn't seem like you're just getting like handcuffed immediately and they're just like, they're trying to bust you immediately. I feel like it does look like there's a common understanding of like, let's keep this going.
Dude, I've been watching a lot of Wrangler recently. Can we talk about that real quick? Like the way that Wrangler's been policing, dude, he's been doing something that I think I don't know why people are letting him do this. Like in RP, he will pull somebody over and immediately ask them to get out of the car, and like both as like a United States citizen who's like watched any sort of like police auditing videos, and as like a person who plays a cop on the server, he does not have a leg to stand on to ask people to get out of the car 90% of the time.
Does anybody here know California law on that?
So we don't use California law. We use
no pixel doesn't use.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, got you.
So we have SOPs for like when, and we just use the come on, help me out, Troms. The case law. We use the case law for asking people to get out of their vehicle, and it requires that
on the highway.
It can't be for like merely a convenience for the officer. There has to be a clear and present danger for either the officer or the person involved. And so he just is constantly asking people to get out. And I'm just wondering, like, do people know? And I think it's interesting because I think eventually they will. But for now, he's like getting to use it. And I think it's really cool. I love like the Wrangler, like pushing it's just what he does, where he just pushes the letter as much as he can. So it's interesting.
I haven't really and I haven't watched much. And honestly, like once I got into No Pixel, I pretty much quit watching No Pixel. Just cause I just don't want it to affect my character. Not even like, I don't ever worry about my knowledge. It's more so of just traits. I don't want to adopt other people's traits. Like that's so easy to do, right? But I feel like he's so good at pulling like reasonable suspicion out of his ass. You know what I'm saying? To like somehow get them out of the car. Like he can quickly cover his ass with something so quick and turning their words on them. And, get them talking and turning their words. Like, I feel like he would probably get it to fly in court 90% of the time if, why'd you pull him out of the car? Well, this.
Well, I think his whole trick is that he, like, gets people to admit to shit so it doesn't even really have to go to court. He's like, well, you admitted it. It's like, you're guilty.
Essentially, yeah.
The funny thing, too, is that he plays off how, like, loose people are with a lot of stuff. There's so many criminals who will just admit to something that seems so small on the server, like, oh yeah, robbed a bank earlier or something like that, right? Like it's something that seems so small, but then he makes it real by going like, that's crime. That right there, that's crime. You just admitted to a crime. So like let's move forward. I'm treating you as a criminal
very stickler on like, no, we're like, I'm arresting people for anything and everything. If I'm able to arrest somebody for this, I'm gonna do it. Where most cops are like, I'm not even gonna deal with this. You know what I'm saying? Like this isn't even big enough for me to deal with. Like I think that's where you get your certain cops that are like, no, like I'm gonna get my arrest for anything on this, or not even necessarily. It's not necessarily about like securing like a dub on the rest. Just I'm gonna get that RP all the way through the cells and shit, And I think that's somebody who's really good at making that happen. I mean, because let's be honest, man, he's figured out the cop shit too.
Oh yeah.
I
used to watch him when he played. He used to on stream before he would go on duty. This was in 2.0. He would, or maybe it was like the beginning of 3.0, but he would watch like police interrogation videos and like take their techniques that they used and then apply them. And then he would be like, holy shit, this is actually working. And it was awesome. It was so cool to see.
Yeah, that's ill. I've never thought about that. That's super ill. I mean, shit, 52 starting to get kind of good at it.
52? Yeah, absolutely.
He's starting to get kind of good at it.
One thing I like about roleplay is, the cop dynamic. I feel like that's one reason why so many people watch roleplay and, roleplay and stream it, because the dynamic of a cop who's an adversary, who can hit you at like 101 different angles and react to you, it's spontaneous, different shit happens all the time. Most people don't appreciate that though. So and that's
And being that witty, man, like you gotta be extremely witty and quick on your toes.
Mm-hmm.
Like to be able to have the comebacks for these crims and stuff and the things that they do and say, like, you gotta be mad witty, know your law to some extent, you know, and I really know your penal code, right? Like, what all can I get this douchebag for? You know, like he's pissing me off where normal, like, or a cop that doesn't know their penal code well, they're like, I still don't have shit. You know what I mean? But somebody like Wrangler or something, you know, it's like he knows this penal code probably in and out. Like he probably knows every single charge that's on there, I feel like at this point. And he's like, oh, got this. And so it's like, oh, his shirt's untucked. Well, you can't have your shirt untucked on a sunny day on a Tuesday at 5 o'clock. Like, it's like he gets them for the most random things, right? And yeah, man. But no, I do, do cop RP just like, I feel like cop RP and there's nothing ever could ever touch it, man. It's such an addiction.
Indecent exposure doesn't mean half naked, by the way, or
not
wearing clothes. It means ERPing in public on NoPixel.
Well,
That's
or
what it is.
you know,
Is ERP in public?
Pulls wiener out, right? Like,
no, I don't even think that's indecent exposure because if you read the description,
you role play it is. Yeah, you just exposed your wiener.
That would still be that'd be ERP. Yeah, that'd be ERP.
I don't know. It depends.
No?
I would fight it because it'd be like I don't really find people peeing to be erotic, so.
Right. Shit.
So it wasn't erotic role play for me.
Why do you have me drink so much water before I come over?
Right.
Dude, it's to help you, you know, produce.
Oh.
Yeah.
Can I get your opinion? But we've all played cops. I pulled somebody over. It was
no way, you did your job?
It was an SDSO cadet who was not even a solo.
Oh
yet.
my god!
And I was just fucking with him. But then the other SD, like Jeff Waters and another SDSO came up and they were like, all right, we want to get this guy a report, but we don't want to process it. We want to ask you to wait 59 days to process it. And then if we're basically going to dangle it over his head to like troll him for like until he's a solo cadet.
Dangle it.
And so we do it. And then Chris Cross calls me in and he's like, okay, listen, if you're going to troll a cadet, I don't care that you gave him a ticket. I think that's funny, but you have to give him the right charges. And he was contesting that he wasn't joyriding because the car that he was using, even though it didn't belong to him, belonged to somebody that he lives with. And that because he lives with, that is implicit consent that they can use their vehicle. And I was arguing that it wasn't.
True.
Yeah. He was taking it really seriously, so I didn't want to argue with him.
Even if it's your parents, it's not true.
I'm gonna agree with both sides there, only because it's mechanically that is how it works. Mechanically, they can pull out. They have access to the garage and can pull out the vehicles of the people they live with because they have a shared garage. It's like the PD shared garage, right? It's the same thing.
But it's like be more witty than game mechanics to get out of this.
Yeah.
Nothing frustrates me more than when I'm dealing with a criminal and they're like using game mechanics to get out of things.
I do this to Trons all the time. He'll be like, you have a spider on your foot. And I'll be like, that's fine. I like spiders. And he's like, no, you need to jump. No, I don't. You can't tell
I
me
have
what
been
to do.
doing so much work to try to come up with different things for like the most basic stuff, like spider on your foot. I'll say like, oh, you got a piece of gum or something like that, where like you know, it still conveys what you're trying to say, but it's not the same spider on foot or use your X muscle or something like that, right? Like I've been trying to come up with like creative ways to say things like that. Like you know, there was a guy recently who I can't remember, he couldn't figure out how to like clear his emotions or something like that, like to, you know, /EC, right? And literally couldn't figure out how to do like open the chat menu to do like
I was there,
you know. Yeah, and so I'm like, oh, it's as easy as a cup of tea, right? Like I'm making it like so fucking
so
obvious. Like just hit the T key to open your chat, right?
What about how long did it take y'all to realize how to save a phone number?
What do you mean?
It took me at least 2 weeks on NoPixel to figure out how to save a fucking number,
their phone
bro.
number, and they'd be like, here's my card. And I'd be like, just tell it to me. They're like, no,
I
here's my
didn't
card.
save
Like, just tell me your
anybody's
phone
number for so long. Like I just quit even asking people for phone numbers. They're like, "You want my number?" I'm like, "No," like because I don't know how to say it. Like I'm over here like literally writing this shit down. Like fuck, Like, I'm never gonna get this shit. Like, I could not figure out how to save a phone number, bro.
So
that was
you
the
got,
worst
like,
thing
a
ever.
Notepad next to your desk with everybody's phone
Literally,
number
bro.
on
I'm
it.
not even playing. Or like, I would screenshot it and then later go back and fucking add the number. Cause I was like, bro, like I didn't. It took me so long, and finally, I think I was with like Hopper or somebody I was actually comfortable with, you know, to just ask. And I was like, bro, like, how do I save a number? Like, easy. And he was like, Control A, Control C. I was like, thank you, bro. You just saved my life. And I've been good since.
Wait, what do you mean?
How do y'all do it? Like, type it out, Control A,
Yeah, T.
Control C.
Oh, yeah, no, that's
copy.
exactly how I do it. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm about to say,
As
man,
soon
if
as
y'all
somebody
got like
gives
an
it to me,
airdrop
I type
method,
it. You just put it in the chat box and then copy it. Yeah, that's it. Okay, I get it now.
Yeah.
It's like, wait, is there another way that I didn't know about to like save somebody's number?
Bro, that was literally the worst thing ever. Like trying to figure out how to save somebody's number, not realizing that you couldn't buy food anywhere, bro. That was almost the death of Doowee, bro. I literally rode all over, and I was half the time I was on foot because somebody like Abdul would keep coming and stealing my bike or something, or then they'd steal my shoes too. So Doowee just spent half the time like walking around the city barefoot and just trying to figure out how to eat. And I finally, so then I figured out that they like you only buy food from real people, right? Bro, I go everywhere and nowhere's open. Like it was just the worst timing ever, and I'm just dying. Like nowhere's open. I can't figure out. I'm going to any market I can. Bro, I spent probably 5 hours trying to eat. That one was rough. Phone number and eating. That was the two most rough things.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think what my like embarrassing like moment was where I can't
Like
think
not
of
being
what,
able
like,
to put your hands up when Pred's telling you to put your hands up.
Right. Or just
that was embarrassing as hell.
Something goofy like that.
I got
trying to
shot.
remember.
I got shot once because I didn't like that everybody did hands up, so I did like hands head, where you like got on your knees and put your hands on your head. So
Just
somebody
surrender?
was like, they were like, "Give me your hands, give me your hands," and it was like a criminal, and he's like, "Hands in the air, motherfucker!" And so he did that, and he's like, "I said hands in the air," and I'm like, "This is the same thing. It's actually better because my knees are on the ground. I'm not a flight risk." And then they shot me.
It opens up the same thing. You can still rob somebody who has hands head, and people are too fucking stupid to notice that. Like, it's the same as having your hands up.
Yeah, oh man, I felt so stupid that day. I was like, man, and then when you look back on it, you know, because that's the other, you know, overwhelming part of No Pixel at first is like, dude, you know how many people just saw you look like a complete jackass. Like hands up, like if you really would have seen, I had my cam on too, and I'm literally sitting here like hitting my X button, and all my Doowee just keeps, you know, like crouching and shit. I'm like, oh god. Yeah, that one was mad embarrassing.
You're gonna have another hurdle when you eventually get your cop character.
So many keybinds you have to do.
Yeah,
I use N for my camera on the helicopter, and right control for pulling people out of a car with my stick, and up for hard cuff, and down for uncuff or soft cuff.
Yeah. Hopefully you have a full keyboard, 100% keyboard.
I actually got one just because of RP, but that's been another nerve-wracking thing, right? Because like my E button is my 9 key, right? And so I'm over here like so terrified to get anywhere near the number 9 because I don't know that maybe in No Pixel it goes the same way. So my 9 would be like 911 Doowee Dangle, Officer Doowee Dangle, send 30 over there is 32s, right? So send all 32s. You know, whatever. So I'm like terrified that I'm in, and I can't, resetting the default doesn't actually erase them. You have to go in and unbind each of them, right? So I'm like terrified. I'm like, dude, one day I'm gonna be sitting here. It's gonna go Officer Doowee Dangle, send all 32s. I'm like, this is literally gonna be the end of me in No Pixel.
So it's like a hotkey.
So I'm in the clothing store and I have to go to like, I'm going to like clothing 9 or whatever. So I hit 9 and it instantly is like 911 is not. I'm like, oh, thank God. And then, but I did accidentally hit one the other day. It's the Great American Hero. I don't know if I can actually do it, No Picture or not, if I get in trouble, but he literally does the Superman pose and it goes red, white, and blue, the American Hero. Because that's always how it's presented, awesome. Doowee. I'm like, hey, how you doing? It's the Great American Hero, you know, and the American Hero, and it says it. I accidentally hit it in front of MRPD the other day, and I was like, oh my God, somebody's about to stop and just cuss me the fuck out. But that's been a big thing on it, man. It's just realizing like what you can and can't do.
I have a topic. For everybody.
Just quickly before that, there's actually one thing I wanted to bring up for viewers and for role players. Invest in a stream deck. Very cool,
Yeah,
especially if you want to be more emotive, because it's so easy to set up like emotes on stream deck buttons, and you have full pages of emotes.
Yep.
And literally with the
Technically
push
infinite pages,
of the push of one button, you have like all of the emotes at the tip of your fingers, so you don't have to just like rely solely on like F
7
keys
of your
and stuff
F
like
keys.
that.
Just don't put any of your cop shit on there. Like no hard cuff, soft cuff. Like you're like sitting here looking for it while they're running away.
Yeah, no, keep that on your main keyboard. Yeah, anyway, sorry,
emotes.
No, that's
I got it all. I got it all on my Stream Deck, like everything.
Hell yeah! I mean, if
Yeah,
it's
I
I
accessible
gotta
and-
buy another one.
and
I'm
you can
having
do-
to
you
use
can
my
add
Stream
images
Deck on
to
my
them,
Stream
so
PC.
you can just like there's gonna be cuffs on the image, and you're like, oh, that's the cuffs.
Oh, I didn't think about doing that.
Yeah.
It's actually really.
I have the large, not the super big one, but like the medium Stream Deck. But it's plugged into my streaming PC that I've been using because the audio quality's dog shit. So I actually just put out a tweet asking if anybody has a Go XLR they don't use, because I know a lot of people are like, I don't like this anymore, because I need one, because it is
Bro, I thought I hit the
PC
gold
shot.
mine
Sounds
yesterday.
amazing.
I actually have the big Go XLR that goes to my game PC and then routes to my stream PC through audio out or whatever. But yesterday I found a guy who has the XLR Mini, and which you can combine basically, so you have 8 dials instead, and then send that one straight to the stream PC and then connect to the game PC. But he also had another 15 key stream deck, so I thought I was about to get both for like 150. Man, he didn't have the stream deck, but I can still get the XLR Mini for like 100. So
That's a great deal.
That's
But
great. Yeah, that's
I
really
need
really
another
good
stream
deal.
deck though, so I could use it for emotes though.
Dude, there was
my
a
other
guy
one
on
I have to use for
OfferUp who was
stream.
like, he had a Stream Deck unopened, and he was offering it for $50 under retail. And I was like, I'm not buying a used Stream Deck for 50. He's like, it's never been opened. I was like, well, you say it's never been opened, but like,
Bro, it's worth.
Come on, man.
Never mind. The XLR. The XLR Mini though is on sale right now. You
is
actually
it?
get super
How much
cheap.
is it?
So is the Stream Deck. The Stream Deck's
Is
actually
the
like $100
Mini worth
right
it?
now.
I heard the Mini, if you're gonna for like dual PC streaming, the Mini's not good enough.
Yeah.
I don't know if
Well,
that's true.
If it does
No,
everything and just lacks
yeah.
like the
voice
being
changer.
able to record yourself and like like the easy change buttons.
I
then-
actually, that's the other thing is I want it for the easy like because my voice changing
Yeah,
sucks. It's dog
then
shit.
you would
the
want the
full-
then you would want the big one. Yeah.
just get the full
Yeah.
one. It's
But
it-
then you add a Mini to the full one, and you got.
that's actually a sick idea. I never thought about
Bro,
that.
it's legendary, bro, and the setup is so nice because then you have 4 audio dials, and you just connect them. It looks like they're one thing, you know. So you literally have 8 audio dials.
So
Like,
do
I
you
could
put
easily use 8.
do you put them both on the same computer, or is it one per computer? 'Cause I
One,
do-
well,
I
they
do double
both
as
go to
well.
both, but one like so the big one would main your gaming PC, and the small one would main your stream, and then they're both connected to each PC, so you hear all audio between them.
Okay, so it's one per computer then still. 'Cause if you're doing
Yeah,
2 PC
essentially.
setup. Okay, yeah, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so honestly, I would have never done 2 PC streaming, and I thought how to go XLR. It makes it so simple.
I've thought so
My
many
audio
times about just going back to
easy.
the single
'Cause I have
PC, but
I have an Elgato HD60, right? And that like for video capture, but the audio's so bad between the Yamaha and the streaming PC. I don't know why. It's so dog shit. It literally sounds like I'm using like a 2008 Logitech desk mic.
bro, I'm telling you, Go XLR is the best.
It's the way to go.
Best invention
It's-
ever made.
I'm actually right now. My camera and my mic is coming from my streaming PC from my gaming PC to my streaming PC. So I'm actually sending this through my gaming PC
crazy.
to,
I
to
actually
talk to you guys right now.
I actually took down my cords this morning to put my camera on my game PC because I wasn't dealing with because my stream PC is like way over here, and I was like, I'm not even halfway. So I literally took my cables up from under my desk just to move my camera to my game
Surprisingly,
PC.
on my gaming PC, I was able to stream Cyberpunk like ultra settings, and it was like no problem at all. I was surprised.
What GPU?
That's the bad
you
thing is
got?
I literally could. Go ahead, my bad.
What GPU do you have, Hydra?
I have a 2080 Ti.
Damn. I don't know what you guys are talking about though with the Go XLR, you audio technicians. What the fuck?
Dude, it's actually like so
It's
simple.
fire.
It's probably one
But
of the
yeah, I
most
do
like,
have an
plug and play
extensive audio
things I've bought.
background too.
Dude, your
Yeah,
numbers
it
keep
is.
going up and up. 52. You had like 405 people on your stream the other day.
No,
That's 'cause I got
no,
shot
he
by
had
Rami.
687.
And that's probably
That
because I
was-
got shot
that
by
was
Buddha.
before- it was 405
You got
before you got shot by
Kidnapped
Rami.
by CG.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
hate
were
those
jumping on
hoppers.
that.
I'm gonna wait.
Dude, I'm actually curious about it because there's no way that they don't know that you're a character, right? So when you get hoppers from guys like that, are they like all for you being like, you know, your character, or are they like, hate it, I can't stand it, like
No,
you're bad cop?
That's not it. It's they hop when their streamer shoots you. So they're hoping to apologize for what their streamer did, or say like.
I think
or
it's
send
funny
love.
when they do that. Like, sorry about my streamer.
That's really like how that goes down.
Yeah, that shit just irks me.
Yeah, it is like it's
like
not,
nobody's taking this serious, man.
I don't mean this in like an attacking way to like people who do this, but it is kind of an invasion of your community, right? You've got like a vibe, and then suddenly a bunch of people come over, whether with good intentions or not. And it's kind of like, okay, like I guess we have to deal with this now. It's like a bunch of like uninvited guests come over, which is like a weird thing to say about a public stream, but that's how it feels, I think, for a lot of
Where
people.
your community gets drowned out because you got all these random people. No, I definitely get it. But you were lit. Yeah, you were lit.
My issue with it is when they apologize, I don't know. It just it feels like
I haven't got an
I don't know,
apology in so long.
Yeah.
All I get is deserved.
Like it's like they're writing you letters like in the hospital after they just like knocked you out in a boxing match or something. They sent you flowers and stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, my bad, bro.
But instead of
Sorry
flowers,
about your loss.
it's 300. It's just a screaming zoomers.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think honestly the overall reaction to a lot of your shit, 52, is people just like it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny too because I don't personally think that you come off as like W cop or anything like that, right? So I feel like your stuff would go over very, very well with communities who typically their fan base hates cops, W cops specifically.
Mm-hmm.
And you are a W cop, that's the thing too, but I feel like you're more liked in those communities than you are some other cops, right? Like
Sure.
Suarez, for instance.
Yeah, people hate fucking Suarez. I feel so bad for him because like he genuinely like doesn't do anything specifically to like be an asshole, but like people really don't like this guy.
Well, and I think a lot of it though is just like I think to me the best RP is always when you can just push those limits. Like, how fun is it just wondering every day is Carmine going to get fired, right? Like it's hilarious, right? Like how far can you push the limits and just ride on that little line, you know? And that's how the best RP always comes out of it, man.
I feel like now it's gone to a point where back in the day, yeah, there was a possibility of the character getting fired, but now it's just accepted. So if I do something dumb, if I go down 5 times solo, like I don't get strike points for it anymore.
Well, and I think that once your RP is respected, that's exactly what happens, right? Like even with Doowee, before No Pixel Doowee, that was like the first like month was really like, you know, I can kind of, you know, just testing the water, you know. Then after that, it was kind of like let them loose, you know. Now people get it, they understand, people roll with the punches, and you know, and they let things happen and they support it, you know. Where at first it's like, you know, who is this guy? Like, what? Like this man's crazy. He's coming in here doing that, you know. Like he hadn't been here long enough to do this, you know. And I think once your RP actually gets like respected and understood, it helps you really like just flourish with that character. Because you definitely hit a little certain point over the past few weeks.
One thing I don't like about No Pixel is I love the server, but the elitism. Like when a new person comes in and they play a half decent character, some people like to brush them aside. I don't know if it's because of intimidation or if it's because they think they're taking a spotlight or something. But if you play a character that's out there, not super annoying, but is out there, outgoing, I see characters like that sidetracked, skipped, not given the time of day, and it's.
My buddy actually asked me yesterday, bro. He was like, if a character came on as strong as you came on at the beginning, what would you have done? Because I think we were actually talking about that, like that type of scenario essentially. And he was like, you know, if a character came on and came for PD as strong as Doowee did at the beginning, how would you have felt? And I've definitely had people come on like that, and it was just like instantly, it was like, man, what the hell? Because it's how believable is it, right? Like how believable is the RP, or is this person just trying to go hard just to try to like get something, you know? And I think that's where like testing somebody's patience a little bit definitely can like is almost the way to go at that. But and I don't know if somebody, and I don't know like how if you're say you're chief of police, right? 52, and say another car mine came in, like what would you feel off rip? Like this dude comes in just hot.
I don't know. I'll fuck around with them. Probably
Just
give
test
him
the waters.
Yeah, that's what I do.
Yeah, that's pretty much what my answer was. It's like I would just kind of have to fill him out, man, because a lot of people are just really with the shit. They're not actually there to go further. They just want something really hot, real quick. Maybe they want to clip you. You know what I'm saying? Like they're just going for something really hot, real fast.
Yeah. This is a question for everyone. Does anyone have any plans for the hardcore server? Are you gonna play a cop?
Is it
What are you gonna do?
confirmed? Do we actually have a date? Because until it does, I'm not thinking about it.
The Red Dead server is getting a trailer. It's gonna be soon.
That's what I'm really excited
I
for.
hate planning for things if I'm not sure that they're gonna happen.
Bro, Red Dead RP is the best.
So I actually have some thoughts on that, and it's a weird. I have some predictions, I guess, about how things are gonna go, and I mean I could be wrong, but I really feel like this is exactly how it's gonna go over. All the cops that come over are going to be cops who, you know, maybe play serious in the past, or maybe have not. A lot of the cops are just going to be very, very serious, because if they're going to make being a cop even a fraction of the difficulty that it is on whitelist, nobody's going to want to perma their cop. So they're going to take staying alive very seriously, which means they're going to take crimes very, very seriously, right? And so I feel like there's going to be a lot of serious cops. And then with criminals, I feel like it's going to, cops are almost going to have to dumb themselves down more than ever to be able to like not feel incredibly powerful, right? Like we already have to kind of hold back a little bit when it comes to certain situations as police. And I feel like more than ever, we're going to have to just like really hold back.
So if you die on the hardcore, like if you die at all, like that's it?
No, I'm pretty sure the way it works is your body has a certain amount of like damage that it can take. So you are allowed to go down. Like you can go down a few times or whatever, but you have like a meter, and then eventually your quote unquote life force like runs out, and you're not going to have any life force
what I think would
left.
be dope for that is doing like people like no matter what, it's like their character just like gets old and dies after like 3 months, no matter what. Like, you know what I mean? Like 2 months, like the character, like your character's life only lasts that long. But I don't know, that'd be probably even more, I don't know, extreme hardcore.
That's what they're planning for the hardcore server. They're doing epochs, like little seasons.
Yeah, that'd be
like
sick.
Oh, so actually only having a character for 3 months and shit.
Oh, even the server being up for that long.
Oh, okay. Okay.
And I've always felt stories that have a beginning, middle, and end always hit the hardest.
Yeah.
Rather than,
I would love to play a criminal that genuinely starts from the bottom, like realizes like people need materials or something and starts getting them legally, and then finds out that there's a way to get them faster, but you have to steal cars. And then so you start stealing cars as like a kind of harmless crime, right? Like victimless, like people aren't really getting hurt by it. And then you just keep going up. The progression is so interesting, but No Pixel goes on forever. So eventually you're just ultra criminal with infinite money that doesn't give a shit about killing 37 people at a wedding, right? It's like
right, and knowing that they're going into it, knowing that there's an end is so different. And I think the RP direction will be crazy with that, of knowing that there's an end. Like if I know in 3 months, no matter what, this character dies, like the story that I take with that character can be so more outrageous, to where it's like right now I start a character like I really don't plan on him ever dying, you know, or like ever perma, you know, you don't actually plan on it, you know. But I think going into it, if you know there's a beginning, middle, and end, right, it's easier to create the middle. It's easier to create the end. You know, you can have something crazy in mind that you're working up towards. And that could be a whole nother, but at some point there's going to have to be an evolution here for RP. Like RP is going to have another huge evolution to take it to somewhere else, to where it's like super like TV show mode, right? Like because that's where we're getting with it. Like, you know, things like RP are that, I mean, dude, we're a 24/7 TV show that you can tune into at any time and experience drama, comedy, cops, robbers, you know, whatever,
Oh my
murders,
God.
you know,
You're
anything.
literally taking the words out of my mouth. I'm pretty sure I
Like-
said these exact words before on this podcast.
Bro, that's what's that's literally what appealed to me so much with RP was that exactly, because I was always as a kid I was always in like acting and modeling, whatever, and I'd even thought about in my adult years, like, you know, going into acting. But then once I saw RP, I was like, bro, this is literally like boxing gloves off acting. Like, you can do whatever you want. There's so much freedom, you know. It's like, I don't know, that's the lit part, but I'll definitely be trying the hardcore. The RDR2 is what I'm more excited about, though.
Yeah.
I've only had one RDR2 character, though.
Have you made do you play on Wild RP?
No, I don't have. What is it like getting in there? I don't even.
You just have to
I've never
apply and-
explored it.
People
Yeah.
say it's really hard. I didn't find I'm not a great person to ask because I've gotten into every server I've applied for on the first try.
Right.
So, but
The only one I did was actually really good, bro. It was a free server, but the queue is outrageous. Like, you have to pay for prior or you will never get in.
You
It
pay
was
for the
called-
ERP menu as well.
For real. It was like
Is that on the
you,
server
like
with
you
kids
have
in
to
it?
get prior. And it was fire, bro. Like, for real. Like, I couldn't believe it. Like, I never once experienced like any OOC or any like RDM in that form, like nothing, bro. It was just like RP anywhere I went. Now, was RP kind of stale and stuff? Yeah, kind of. You know, it was more about you go in with a group of friends and that's where your RP centered around, you know. And we know how RDR2 is. You could go a year without seeing anybody if you really, you know what I mean? Like, there's just not as many people. Things are so spread out.
I love that you can just be a guy in the woods and people can come across you and it's like, whoa, who's this, who's this woodsman? Like, what the fuck's happening? You got your bow drawn on them. Oh, it's so sick. My Wild RP character he's like he stays in the woods and he hunts and he occasionally comes into city to trade in his pelts or whatever. But like, it's super fun to play a guy that doesn't use guns. I've gotten really good with the bow and arrow.
Bro,
That's
the
nice.
bow's nasty. Now, mine's always Dallas Darlin. It's like, Dallas Darlin. Like, then he'd always have like a like cut down his eye. So anytime anybody's talking about, they'd be like, yeah, there was an eagle over there. He's like, yeah. He's like, I came across an eagle one time. He's like, that eagle that son of a bitch tried to take out my eye. You know what I did? I grabbed its head and ripped it clean off its shoulders with my bare hands. But no matter what the situation is, that's what he goes to as far as like, that's like, if somebody's talking about a frog, he's like, yeah, I came across a frog once. And so eventually people are like, oh, good fucking, you know what I mean? They're like, not again. You know what I mean? But then one time this chick, I didn't realize that I didn't do eyebrows on Dallas Darlin. And so I hit him with the eagle, you know, one. And she's like, oh, so did the eagle take your eyebrows too? And I just turn and look at my character and I just died. Like, I didn't say anything for a solid 2 minutes. I was just like, she actually got me shook.
That's funny. So
What is it with
RDR2 is like the only place I've actually broke character, I think.
What is it with you and characters that have the first name that begins with D and last name that begins
I don't
with
know. I don't know, bro.
it's a good alliteration. That's good.
D? Yeah.
Double
And the
D.
last,
I just
the
try to
last
think
name's
of
always
pitch names.
Double D Doowee Dangle.
Yeah. And it wasn't intentional at all with Dallas to be another double D, but it did work out again.
My name's Daryl Dirt.
But and then we got Big B, bruh.
Big B, bruh.
Bartholomew Spinkleton.
If you guys can have one like giga famous or giga popular streamer or content creator come back on NoPixel and play it super dedicated and seriously, who would it be? And why is it Cornwood?
Yeah, okay, that's a better option because my mind immediately goes to Moon. I was Moon to come back as Lenny, or
Oh, you're talking about
or
the other
Dab,
Moon.
obviously. Moon, yeah.
I was thinking the better Moon.
Oh, you mean Sun Moon?
No, Mr. Moon's house.
Mr. Moon.
Jeff
He's
Freddie
back
Price.
occasionally. He's back from time to time.
No, like how he was back in 1.0. 1.0, was it No Pixel or was it Family RP? Where he did the
was on
Sekiro
both.
serve.
He was on both, yeah, because he did Sekiro Serve on Family, I believe.
I honestly don't think I even know enough to even give an answer.
I would. My heart goes to Moon, but I just know that he would not enjoy the current climate of the server. And so I retract that, and actually don't know. I'd have to think about that one for a minute, because there's so many people who have come and gone. I think Cornwood is a great one. He was a really good role player, or at least he played his character well. Didn't play being a cop very well, but somehow became captain very quickly.
I think that was part of the
captain cadet.
Capdet. I think him being like incompetent but loved was such a I don't know, I really liked it. I really liked it. Even though he pissed me off when I was only playing Stanky Leg mostly then. Dude, he hit Stanky. I think he genuinely was like, there's that redheaded guy again. Pow! That's too funny. I have an answer. I only got to RP with her a little bit. But it was Sweet Anita.
Oh, okay, yeah. I know.
I have Tourette's and she has Tourette's.
What did she play?
She played a character. She was like a rich lady. I don't know. She was like, "Oh, hello, darling." And then she was like, "Oh, I'm possessed by ghosts." Like that was her explanation for why she would like say some wild Tourette's shit. And I just got to ride with her one day while we were like looking for Pillbot, because Pillbot had something for her. And this was like right after he got banned, I think, when Lord Snow got banned for a little while, because like you're not allowed to play a robot on the server. Or he got unwhitelisted or something. Yeah, I don't.
Wait, what? Exactly. You can't play a robot?
It was
like so many people are robots.
It was a whole thing. No, you're thinking of people that play like robots.
No, I swear, like, you know how many people I thought were robots until you just said that? Bro, there's so many people I was like, oh, that guy's a robot. Like, I just figured that's like who he is. Like,
what about like Albert Intelligence and like cyborgs and shit like that? I didn't realize this was a thing.
All I know is he got
I've
banned.
never heard
and
that.
And the reason that I was told, not by him, was because he was playing a robot and you're not allowed to.
Yeah, I know. I don't know.
So
I don't buy that.
When we bring Lord Snow on, we'll ask him.
Yes.
But so she was looking for him. So we got to hang out for like 6 hours, and towards the end, I was feeling really comfy, and I was like, "Hey, just so you know, I have Tourette's too," or I said, "I'm possessed too." I said, "Just so you know, I'm possessed too, not as loudly as you are, and it's just really cool to be able to like ride around with you and like not feel like totally abnormal." And she said, I don't want to say what she said because it was kind of like for me, but she said some really sweet shit, and I was like, "Damn, all right, I'm gonna keep that." But yeah, it was really cool. So I just love to see her back on the server because it was really fun, and she was absolute chaos.
Those are always my favorite. So I have really, one of my favorite characters in the PD right now is Gemma Zimmerman, because you just never know what kind of like weird shit she's gonna say, and that is like my perfect level of chaos. It's like it feels like hanging out with a little man cop, right? Like it's just like stupid.
Bro, my first ever actual like scene in No Pixel was like such a good like introduction to just fucking weird, crazy shit. Literally, it was with Jeanette, Charlotte, Preacher, Jaguar, well, Jagger, but we call him Jaguar, and they take you, and then so they're like, we're gonna go up to the caves and go like looking for ghosts or whatever, right? And so Dewey's like walking through there, and I'm like, dude, I don't know what they're about to get into. I don't even know if I want to be involved. You know what I'm saying? I don't know what's going on. And it's like, to make it worse, like I usually don't stream like at night, like around bedtime or anything, but I was just sucked into it, right? And I was like, I couldn't get off. And so like I'm like constantly, so you know, I don't have like my daughter screaming in the background and stuff. And they go up there and like, Dewey, like, you're possessed now. They're like, act like you're possessed, act like you're possessed. And I'm like, okay. And so, you know, act like we're possessed and shit. Well, they end up tying Preacher ends up coming. They end up tying Dewey's dick to Jaguar on a post out in the wilderness and doing like a full ritual. And I was like, oh God, like, but at the same time, it was so nice because before then it was like nobody really wanted to talk to me, I felt like, or anything, you know? And so just the fact that I was like, even if I was just they wanted to tie my dick to a post and fucking do a whole little thing, and Preacher passed out. They like cut my wrist and everything, which instantly, like, I kind of have my own little things where I can't touch my wrist. I can't like touch my arms up where I blink a lot and shit. I don't even anybody ever noticed, and I like click my fingers, right? And so like the whole time, as soon as they do it, I'm like cam off. You know, I'm like sitting here like rubbing my wrist. They keep talking about it. I'm like, God, I'm gonna barf, bro. If y'all keep talking about this, I'm gonna like literally puke OC, you know what I mean? But yeah, that was my first ever scene in there.
That's
getting Dewey's dick tied to a post. And then, and that was even, but once again, going back to not knowing how shit works, you know, it's like the whole time I'm like, dude, like, I don't even know, like, if I'm like down right now. Like, can I talk right now? Can I stand up? Like, when I stand up, do I need to slash me this shit? Like, you know, and like getting in the rhythm of it. But that was like a good introduction of like, you know, starting to learn the ways of No Pixel, because no matter what, like, I've been trying to tell the homies this, that like, no matter what, watching No Pixel and being in No Pixel are two completely different things. Like, being actually involved in being a character and stressing about it is so much different than watching this shit. It looks so effortlessly and just easy, right? Like when you're watching it, you're like, oh man, this looks like so simple and shit. And then you jump in, you're like, oh my God, like you're so stressed. I'm literally playing a character and I'm still stressed out. Like I'm over here like, God, they hate Doowee. Like my poor guy, like, you know, or whatever the case may be.
I do think people like Doowee, to be clear.
I don't know, maybe.
Can I give you one word of advice?
Of course.
Just do you. Fuck what anyone else thinks. And if you feel like you're putting in way more effort than someone else that you're role playing with, just tone it down.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you're gonna burn yourself out. You get double guess. You know, that's what's helped me a lot.
Yeah, and somebody came at me with that off rip too. They were like, "Dude, don't care like what, like don't worry about getting in trouble or anything." And that was another hard thing, right? Was coming in as a pure civ. Like I know I created Doowee to be a cop. At the end of the day, like I created Doowee to be a cop, and that was a big downfall of Doowee as well. Was I probably where I went wrong at the beginning was I should have, but I just never knew it when I created Doowee because it happened so fast for him the first time that I should have prepared Doowee to not be a cop for like 6 months or something. You know what I'm saying? I just should have had that preparation to him. But that jumping into straight civ and refusing to do anything illegal,
it's hard.
Is oh my God, bro. I was like, I thought I was so much better than I was. When I realized that part, I was like, oh gosh, like, you know. But that was a big thing at first, was trying to get comfortable and understanding like, bro, like go out there and go balls to the wall. Like it's okay. You know what I'm saying? If you fuck up, it's okay, bro. Like remember where you're at. And
you did the right thing though. I mean, you made a crim too, so.
Yeah, and I literally had to, just because I was like, bro, I'm not gonna make it if I don't. Like I gotta like go relieve some stress. You know what I mean? Like I'm over here just worrying about every move I make and everything I say and not getting in trouble or whatever. And Doowee just tends to somehow find trouble anyway, so it's like constantly keeping him out of that. People always just want to pick him up and like take him to like go get drugs or something. So then that's like, and that's the one thing that I haven't had a lot of that happen yet, where Doowee's RP, since he is such a like goody two shoe in a sense, that's a lot of it depends on those moments happening of someone like a gang being like, come on, Doowee, you're going to sell drugs for us. Well, Doowee's going to get the drugs and immediately go run and snitch. You know what I'm saying? But just having that happen so he can snitch, you know, having something to snitch on. And I wish I could have gone a lot harder with his like neighborhood watch RP, but it's so difficult in the city where like now I would probably have a lot easier time with it, right? But where you don't know anybody and shit, just finding people to snitch on so hard, bro. Like how is it so hard to find people to snitch on? Everybody's doing bad shit everywhere.
It's like they know that.
Right. They're like,
they know.
Yeah, like this guy is a tattletale. Like, yeah, hell yeah, he is.
Somehow they can just tell.
Bro, I still remember the first time I ever met Carmine, bro. You were literally like, I finally gave up walking around all over the place. And I just sat, I was like, you know what? Like, chat, I'm just going to sit here on the side of this corner at Legion and I'm just going to like neighborhood watch it. Like, fuck it, you know? And so I just sit there and instantly everybody starts stopping and talking to me. Like, I've literally been searching for 4 hours for somebody to talk to, going everywhere in the city. And I'm sitting here at Legion Square in a chair, and now everybody talks to me. Carmine pulls up. He's like, yo, Doowee, you know, like, or no, he don't know a name. He's like, yo, you doing all right, pal? You know, whatever. And so he's like, hold on, I'm gonna hop on my car, come talk to you. Goes and talks to him. It was like the biggest breath of fresh air. I was like, oh, finally, somebody that believes. He's like, anything. He's like, you got to snitch on anybody, basically. Call me. I'm like, yes. Because that's how Doowee got in the first time, was he found a cop that would let him call him every time he needed to snitch on somebody. you know. And so just finding somebody that's accepting of your RP and your character at first is like, and I hope that's one thing. Like, and I hope I'm in No Pixel for a very, very, very long time. But that's one thing I know I'll always take is I'll definitely always be very, very aware of when somebody's trying really hard with a new character, just to show them that somebody, like, your RP's going somewhere. You know what I mean? And I think that's a really big thing, to feel that moment of like, okay, like he might have a little future, because 90% of the time during the day you're like, yo, I just need to CK this guy and start over, like, you know. And but the same thing as you're saying, like, getting burnt out. That's one thing I learned, is stop trying to like grind the fuck out of RP. Like I RP so much less now than I used to, just to feel fresh, and not like, because if I do this shit like 3 12-hour days in a row and you involve PDTow, bro, I'm out. Like, I wouldn't make it. I wouldn't make it. And so now it's just, if I wake up feeling it, I go in. If I don't, we bounce, you know. Now, obviously, once you have cop shit going, that changes a little bit. But
I'm so happy that like there's a PDTow group, right? Because that was always the most fun for Hydra and I when we first started doing it. And we did it before. I've said this to you guys in character too. Like, before there was even tow trucks. Like, we were literally, it started as being a lot attendant.
Yep.
Which
John Hydra, at the request of Brittany Angel, had to buy a tow truck to go do tows. They would just call him in and he would just come do it.
Yeah, and even before that, like, but when lot attendant was still just like Willie and a couple other people, right?
It was like Willie and John Hydra, and it was called Angel Towing, and we both bought tow trucks because we used to be Lot Q. It was Toretti and Angel that started it. It was wild.
There's definitely been a bond form.
The original days a lot attendant were tough.
Mm-hmm.
Some days it was just you for hours.
Dude, when scenes got added finally, oh dude, it was so much like a breath of fresh air.
We could add something to it, yeah. I mean, we would like beg cops to role play with us. We would check their vehicles, and like we would ask them if they had done their checks and stuff like that, and like, you know, we were just looking for like an ounce of role play with the cops. Like,
it's still that way,
right?
now.
They're still that way, but you guys have it. You do have it a lot better.
Oh yeah, well, and I would imagine that now that there being so many people that have been PDTow gets treated way less shitty, because there's so many people that understand what it's like. You know what I'm saying? Like, I think that helps a lot. Yeah. Oh, trust me, man. Like, having the people that just understand what it's like and just they choose to come RP with PDTow and interact with PDTow, it's like it's like the biggest like game changer ever. PDTow's got a nice little bond, bro.
Yeah, you guys are crushing it. When it was basically just me and Moosebeard all the time. I always felt like, man, everybody loves Moosebeard and hates John Hydra, and I know I'm being adversarial, but I thought some people would think that it was fun. It felt like Andrews was the only one who actually liked it. But that was like enough for me when he was around all the time. Because Five-O has a great sense of humor. And we would like get into like pissing contests in character, and he would like drive off laughing. And people would send me clips of his channel after. And I was like, oh, fuck yeah, validation. But then other people would literally try to arrest Hydra for like, oops, I tripped tackling. And they're like, you're going to jail. And I'm like, dude, okay, take me to jail. You got me.
I think that, but having the people to RP PDTow with is also, it depends on two things: who's with you, what cops are on duty. Those two things are everything. Like, the other morning we had 6 cops on duty. I don't know what's going on, fellas, but that was awful, bro. I literally sat there for 3 hours. I was like, well, I'm done for the day. I think that was like a Thursday.
Time to jump on the crim and take advantage.
I didn't even, bro. I literally just got off. I was like, I'm done for the day. Like, I sat there and didn't say a word to anybody for, I think, 2.5 hours. Did not say a word. No, yeah, literally, bro. Like, me and Hopper went for as long as we could of just standing around RP, you know, because you can go pretty far if you got the right people talking. You can go far with standing around RP.
Yep. But I know we did.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, you can go far with it, but then you hit a wall, and it's like, as soon as you hit that wall and everybody knows that wall's hit, you might as well just throw it away.
I will never forget the time that me and Troms were standing at PDTow, just bored out of our fucking mind, and some random guy named like My Immortal walks up, and we just start role playing as hard as I can. He's asking, I'm like, "Yep, I know exactly what you want, but it's a challenge." And then Moosebeard jumps in. Oh, dude, it was.
He wanted to know where Vigor was, or Jaeger. He's like, "Where's Jaeger? Have you seen Jaeger?" And we're like, "We just saw him. He was just here." And then Hydra is like, he's popping off. Like he's like, you've just given him like a little taste of potential role play, and he is
like
just
water in the desert.
His eyes are wide and like
he's salivating.
He's thirsty,
he's
bro.
Sweating. He's like, this is it. This is the moment, right? And then he just goes off, and we have like this next like 15 minutes with this guy. We end up leading him to the train tracks behind MRPD, where we tell him that, okay, like 10 minutes ago we saw Jaeger go down here, but here's the thing: we know a little bit about where he's going, and he's going down this path that, listen, there's a lot of traps and stuff like that down these tunnels. What you're gonna do is you're gonna want to go down, and the first thing you're gonna do is you're gonna see a wall. On the wall, you're gonna see a brick. You push on that brick, all right, it's gonna open up a secret door, and it's like we just keep adding to this, like. Nails are going to shoot out from the wall. You're going to have to want to dodge those. Now, be really careful. They're poison tipped. So if you get hit by one of those, you're going to have to take a trip to the Pillbox Medical. It's just like we're overloading this guy with information and role play. And it was just,
and then we never saw him again.
Never saw him again. We sent him into the tunnels and said goodbye, and then never saw that guy ever again.
He might still be down there.
He's a fucking stream sniper, bro. Let's be real.
Probably. Man, no, yeah. We had, like, I think the most, me and Hopper one time, him and Doowee were going out to a tow at like Sandy, but they were like, we'll call you back when it's ready, bro. So we're like, we ride up there. He's like, hang out. I happen to have a tent. We had like 2 chairs. We set up the fire. We ended up having a whole camping scene, bro, while we're waiting on the tow to get called. And that's how thirsty we've been for RP with just one other person is having a camping trip, waiting on the tow job to come in. That's probably the most ridiculous mine's gotten.
Once Kyle's unbanned, we need to get him to approve us to carry a Taekwondo in our trunks for deployable tackles.
Bro, I'm telling you, I was praying the other day that Carter left like right after when the Taekwondo was going on. I was like, oh my God, please let this happen today, because that was going to be the funniest RP ever, bro. Was literally us jumping out and tackling when you were at the impound, and I was like, let us know if you need us to tackle him. You're like, tackle him. I'm like, hell yeah, boom. But imagine what people would say when you got like 4 PDTow guys running after you to tackle you. It's funnier with the mask. I get we can't do the mask, but it's way funnier.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
You know the clip we watched of the shootout at Tow Yard? Mm-hmm. I'm 90% sure the reason that guy started shooting was because you guys tackled him.
I'm sure. No, literally, as soon as I tackled his ass, he came up and was like,
I was like, go, tackle.
I just started screaming, he's got a gun.
Dude, me and Holden, both with the 78's Tow Yard call at almost the same time. Oh, that was clean. That was good.
Bro. I thought for sure Doowee was done, but I just couldn't.
Clapped him up, man.
Bro, you can't let one of those moments go. You can't let a great American hero moment go, man.
And then
that's what Doowee strives for.
What was
great American hero moment
number? I want Troms and Karma and
60219. I will have that memorized the rest of my life. Fucking but did you hear Lovesick when Doowee went and asked him for the report number and he just laughed? I was like, hey Lovesick, what's that report number? And he knew I wanted that shit, and he just laughed. He was like, yeah, 60219. I was like, hell
John
yeah.
Hydra wrote, at which point multiple government employees' lives were saved by the great American hero Doowee Dangle.
I'm telling you, I'm getting that shit printed on my wall, bro. You think I'm playing?
That's so
I'm
good.
literally framing that report and putting that on my wall. That's like one of the most proud moments of my life, bro. Like anytime Doowee can be a great American hero,
just like 52 owes me a tithing of all of his subs. Now that I got him partner. Listen, when you're eventually partner as well, you have to remember that you're gonna look on the wall and you're like, oh, Hydra tithe, 10%.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
I want to be honest. In character, Carmine wants you to join the LSPD, but I'm gonna be frank with you, man. Your character would fit in way better with the PBSO.
I would never make it in the LSD.
And that's where He was designed originally to be in a sheriff's uniform.
On a Kyle's Yes Man.
And it just didn't and it didn't go right for him at first, as far as like LSPD just snatched him up when the character first started, and in old Doowee. And then he actually transferred over until the new city came about, and then that's when he basically, took over on LSPD. And honestly, like, both of them are so funny. But what I like about the whole persona of like a PBSO Doowee is I feel like with other characters in plays, always, no matter what city you're in, dude, BCSO or PBSO, it's always your more like harder cops, right? Of like that a certain, I don't know, there's always a difference. LSPD always has one persona. BCSO always has one persona.
They always have a country vibe. They got a little country vibe,
and
not afraid to like throw down in a bar fight, and instead of arresting you, just spit on you and walk away, right?
Right,
I feel like LSPD's like taser hands.
And I feel like the arc that gets hit with Doowee and LSPD is, I feel like Doowee quickly takes on that like city cop arc, you know what I'm saying? Of like, when he goes LSPD, I feel like that's what he just naturally takes on. He just becomes more of a hard ass way too quick. You know what I mean? Where it's like Dewey's really meant to be way more and it's not like a forever thing, but more of like just stay that gullible. And you still, like we saw with PDTow, even he already kind of had to develop more of like a precision and understanding things versus being a complete idiot. Like he can't just be a complete jackass all the time. But with LSPD, I felt like it almost transformed him to have more of that like just like constant hard ass of, and taking on that. Whereas like PBS, I feel like Doowee could just be the dumbass that, exactly like you said, the yes man, bro. The yes man's the most perfect way to ever put it. Like he's always game for anything. And the thing is, he's so gullible that, you're having him do something that he probably shouldn't do in like a case or something like that. But he's so gullible and naive and shit. And he just wants to please you, because Dewey's a pleaser, man. He wants to make people happy. He wants to do a good job. He wants to be the great American hero. He wants to make his meme all proud, so he's like, he's jumping at anything you do to like, hey, Doowee, I need you to do this. Okay, yes, sir, let's go. Like, Doowee, shoot that man, boom, like whatever it is, like that's just how, and I want him to stay that way for as long as possible.
Hell yeah, just you will. I think you will. You've got such good character with him. You're a great role player. I know you think people don't like you, but I think people can realize that you're a character, and it's super fun. Trumps actually hates you.
Yeah. When I found out you were coming on the show, I almost didn't show up. It's like,
that's why it was so late. Yeah.
Bro, it's not even like people don't like. It's just like it's like, do people here find Doowee annoying? You know what I mean? Like you don't know like who embraces you and who doesn't, and it's just like, oh, it's so nerve wracking.
Not trying to like get like ass pats here, but was it like validating when you like saved a bunch of cops and then you got like a report written about it? And
yes, bro, that was literally, bro, the day before. I wish y'all could have seen it. I'm literally, I don't want to say too much, but I'm literally sitting there and I'm just like looking at people, like certain things happening with certain people, right? And I'm just like, bro, like, like, should I just come back as me? You know what I mean? Like, that's really how I was feeling. I was like, man, do I just need to self-inject a character to like just get further? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, what do I need to do? It's just, I'm just seeing things happening, right? And I'm kind of like, and it's very easy, bro. Weeks are very long in RP, right? A week is a very long time in RP.
A lot happens.
And right, you're living off highs and lows. You know what I'm saying? You're living off highs and lows. And Doowee was actually at a very low point mentally in his week, like me myself as well. And I'm just like shit. And all of a sudden I see this moment present itself. And I had a good idea that it was going to go that way when we started towing that guy's car,
Oh, I knew.
I
knew. That's why I was
finally,
like, yeah.
And but then when it actually happened, and Carmine and Hydra were just like, hell yeah. It was finally that sense of like, people really fuck with you. And like, and like Dowee's actually, he's taken on his character finally, you know, and because that's Dowee's kind of a hard guy to get going in a certain sense, because it's just so face value at first. You know what I mean? It's very face value, and it takes a lot just to get him more out there and people to understand the character. Well, I guess that's any character really. It's just understanding who that character is and what
knowing
they're
that he's
about.
not just like a one-trick goofball, right?
Right. Exactly. Like there's actually depth to this character.
Yeah.
Generally, I think it's just automatically so it's the dumb country guy. You know,
I think
there's
people
nothing more to
typically
him.
respond less well to people with like Southern accents, right? They just assume that you're dumb. And there was it's like an Apex streamer. He also did Fortnite, but he played a country character. And people like treat him really dumb at first until they realized who he was. And then he got, all the stream snipers and all the people just giving him everything because he's a big streamer. But in that like small window where people didn't know who he was, they treated him like dog shit. He's like, why is he being such an asshole?
Literally, bro, that's how I felt my first, like, dude, I when I saw No Pixel, I'm like, oh God, like Dewey's about to go in here, have fun. Cause it's just the experience I'd had with Dewey. Bro, I got in and it was just like, everybody's treating him like fucking ass. I was like, oh my God, this is awful. But no, it's been good though, man. It's been good. It's had its highs and lows.
Well, keep it up,
but
man.
that moment was so validating, bro. It really was. That was a good moment.
We'll always have the tow yard.
Fucking night.
All right, boys. Anything anybody wants to bring up before we wrap her up?
Oh, it was good. This was good. This is a good one.
Hell yeah. I hope so. I'm not gonna lie, bro. When I hit my wife, I was like, they want me to jump on this podcast.
You hit your wife? Hold on, wait. Breaking news.
Hold on, this is not a good way to end this.
Breaking
This is
news.
not a good way to end, man.
So I text my wife and I'm like, yo,
I don't know if we can air this.
Because I text her this morning, because you hit me kind of late, and so she was already asleep.
Big shout out, by the way, just so people know. I was on painkillers last week, and I was like out of my mind. I totally flubbed with getting a. Trumps was supposed to get some certain streamer. I'm not going to name her name, but
Jenny Bear. It's Jenny Bear, guys. Pressure Jenny Bear to come on the show.
I saw like literally last night, like 1 a.m. I'm like, yo, Cleebron, you do me a solid. Can you come on the show? And he was like, oh, hell yeah.
I couldn't believe it for real. I was shocked. I was like, and then that's why I text my wife. I said, dude, what the fuck are they going to talk to me about? You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I look at the roster. I was like, I instantly went on YouTube. I'm like, who all they had on here? And I'm looking, I'm like, oh my God. I'm like, bro, what am I about to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, hey guys, how's it going? PDTow. Like,
man. We're definitely gonna have you back on after your
green screen it today, and I was gonna have the PDTow the booth. I was actually gonna be standing in front of the booth, but my mic kept like glitching out in it, and I was like, I didn't. But
much work,
that was actually the goal today.
I think at least my favorite part about this episode was getting another point of view from another server. Because we have had a lot of people who they started somewhere, but it was for a very short amount of time. Like even myself, I was on a Rivalry, I believe it was called, for a short amount of time before No Pixel, right? So a lot of the guys we have had long role play careers with No Pixel only. It's been interesting to kind of get that point of view from another server as well.
Yeah,
at least before coming to No Pixel, and
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
That's
So
good.
thanks for
Appreciate
bringing
you, man.
that. Thanks for giving us the perspective. Hopefully, if any of the PNT people see this, they see that you've got lots of experience and you're a cool, level-headed dude. And you've got the good RP at heart. And we'll have you join us soon on the PBSO.
Hopefully, man.
And then
Let's
we
go.
can
February,
also-
March.
We can make our. That was. He was telling me before the podcast. He was like, "Yeah, I'm sure I'll make it by February or March. That's all I've got in me." I was like, "Dude, if they make you wait as long as I did, I'll make something. I'll blackmail Pred or something."
You heard it here first.
All right, boys. Thanks for the show. Appreciate you.
Hey, thank you guys for having me, for real. This is
Yes,
awesome.
Pixel, episode 13. Nice having you on, man.